and listen to this, but they could. I guess it's technically a live broadcast. There's a little viewers thing at the bottom there. But all right, I'm gonna start this off here.
All right.
So we'll do the welcome to. That sounded disingenuous. Welcome to. No, I'm really serious. This is another 30 and Nerdy podcast. This, once again, 2 weeks in a row, is a very, very special podcast. So we'll go around the table and you'll see why it's special. Scott, you'll be to my left. So
fair enough.
We have me, Matt, from 30 and Nerdy, and we have. Oh yeah, and actually, I'd like to say that I'm in LA because that's exciting that we're all in different places. And to my left.
This is Scott Hannon, and I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And to his left.
Mike Kellum, and I'm in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
You can say Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mike's first time joining us. Mike, can I call you the Xbox guy?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
All right. I just put a label on that can. Anyways, so yeah, this is going to be our E3 2015 conversation podcast / review / we'll see if it turns into a spectacular or not. And let's see. I guess, Scott, are you ready to for me to pass the baton to you?
Yeah. Do you want to go into what you're playing right now, or should we just dive straight into E3?
Oh, you know what? Oh, actually, yeah. Right now, what I'm playing, and I think Mike and I might do a podcast about this either later today and/or Sunday if you're interested to join us. But I'm playing The Elder Scrolls Online on PlayStation 4.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's playing on Xbox One, so we can't play together. But correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but we both have just really been utterly enjoying the game so far to the point where we're like, hey, we should talk about this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just getting consumed by it at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to put down. What about you, Scott? What do you?
I haven't been playing anything very seriously. I played a little bit of Ether. Like, I didn't even really get into the game very far itself. I got stuck on a puzzle and then went to sleep. Yeah, it was like the first puzzle too. There's a lock you have to unlock, and the clue for it just baffled me, and I didn't bother to investigate or think very hard on it, and I just turned it off. That's entirely my fault. That's not the game. And then I did play Bloodborne for a couple hours finally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I gotta say I wasn't that impressed, but I didn't play for very long. The thing that stuck out to me is I didn't really like how quick the combat was. I liked Dark Souls' really slow, methodical approach, and Bloodborne is just a little too fast for my taste. But yeah, I'm only a couple hours in. I might grow to love it.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well then let's dive into the E3 material unless someone else has something. Mike, did you want to say something outside of Elder Scrolls?
I know, I sort of spoke for you on that. Sorry. I knew because I knew. We texted about it all day.
I don't know. I was playing a bit of Destiny, playing the new DLC, and it didn't take me long to remember why I put that game down. It's just repetitive again, and so Elder Scrolls really. It's like, it just really weaned me off it again. So I don't even think of Destiny. It's like a ex-girlfriend. I'm over it.
I don't know. It sounds more like a drug that you are. You are.
I was listening to a podcast, and one of the guys was like, I was playing Destiny for like 2 months straight, and then I realized I was, basically doing crack.
Yeah.
And just Elder Scrolls at the moment.
Cool.
All right. Cool. All right. So E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo, was held this year. It was in LA again, right? It always is.
Yeah. It almost always is. Or
Okay.
there was like 1 or 2 times it wasn't. But yes, it was again for I don't know, the umpteenth time.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of confusion about the dates. The actual conferences started on June, 14th?
If that is Sunday, June 14th, yes. And for the first time ever on Sunday also. That was new this year because of Bethesda.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but some of the sites for these companies mentioned that it took place all during the middle of the week, so it's clear when it happened because it's a historical record, but it's not clear from the text on their website.
Yeah.
But Bethesda kicked things off on Sunday evening, the 14th. Then Microsoft that Monday, EA Monday afternoon, and then Ubisoft after EA. Sony took Monday evening, Nintendo did Tuesday morning, and then we had a Square Enix for Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Cool. So going into this year's E3, why don't you guys tell me what you were looking forward to the most?
All right, Mike, you want to go first, or you want me to lead things off?
Well, yeah, I'll go. I don't care.
Make the new guy go.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Matt, like back in like April, for whatever reason, the Star Wars bug just got back into me. So I have to say, Battlefront 3, I was just, oh man, I was any ounce of information I could get from Battlefront 3, I was all about that. I don't know, Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, that's probably like the two going into it that I was probably most excited for.
Okay.
Were you as the Xbox guy, Mike? Were you looking forward to Microsoft's press conference in general, or like did you have any expectations?
Oh yeah.
Like hear any rumors about stuff they might have shown?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I was looking forward to Microsoft. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of the I feel like I'm one of the last remaining Halo fans. So
I feel like you guys are a dying breed. You're a dying breed.
We definitely are. All the Call of Duties and whatnot kind of took a bunch of the shooter gamers, I think. But yeah, I mean, probably Guardians is probably one of the big what do you call it? One of the big Microsoft exclusives I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? What were you looking forward to?
Like, I don't think of myself as a Sony fanboy, but as a PS4 owner, I look forward to Sony's conference every year, and sometimes it's awesome, and sometimes it definitely doesn't deliver. But you know what? I've grown to, and Microsoft's I watch also. I like paying attention to what they're doing and stuff like that. I think that besides from Sony, though, the only other one I was looking forward to was Nintendo, because I was just like super curious about what the heck they could have to show that wasn't Zelda related and that was gonna, just kind of awe and inspire. And we knew ahead of time they said that they were gonna talk about Star Fox, so I was really excited about that. But Ubisoft's pretty solid also. Like I was hopeful for Beyond Good and Evil 2 to make its way there, which it didn't. But like every year, like I sit down and I watch them all, and even EA's, and every year I forget that EA just has like a ton of the sports stuff in there, which I really don't care about, and just like really weird stuff, and it always ends up bumming me out that it's not better. But yeah, I'd say Sony and Nintendo.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, were there any of the conferences that took you by surprise? Were there any that you were more excited for after you saw the conference than you were beforehand?
I can answer that, but do you want to go first, Mike? Or?
Yeah, we'll go to my left.
The one that really caught me off guard was I would have to say Bethesda.
Yes, that's the same one for me.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, then let's just go straight into Bethesda.
Yeah. There you go.
The first one on our list is Doom. I watched the trailer just a couple moments before we began the podcast. Mike, your impressions?
Never played a Doom game.
What? Matt, your impressions?
No, he's got to say but.
I remember as a kid, my next door neighbor played it. I was a little guy at the time, but I remember watching him playing it. And I remember thinking, I was like, wow, this is an older kid game. Like, holy crap! But I definitely think the new one will be the first one I play.
Yeah.
Look just brutal and oh man, amazing.
What you said when you were a kid, you were watching someone play Doom. What Doom was that?
Oh man, I'm assuming the first one, you know, the really pixely where you see the guy's face at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, that could be 1 or 2 though.
Oh.
1 and 2 were only like a year or 2 apart from each other.
Yeah, that I wouldn't know.
So then, what prevented you from playing Doom 3?
Did that one come out on console?
Yeah, it was on
Way
Xbox.
later, though.
I don't know. I guess maybe not playing a previous one. I was just kind of I don't know. Was there a big presence of it? I don't even really remember it.
I remember Doom 3 making quite a splash. It looked amazing for the time, and they came out with a re-resed or up-resed version only a few years ago, and it still looked really good.
Yeah, which is weird because I loved playing like Unreal Tournament and stuff. I loved those games, and they kind of seem, you know, like they could be out of that universe almost, just like the really fast-paced, crazy. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I will be playing the new one because wow,
yeah,
amazing.
What did you like about it?
Oh man, the melee. You know, like he would like snap a guy's jaw off and then like, you know, break out, you know, kick a guy's leg and break it. Oh man, and oh man, what else? The chainsaw. I mean, it just looked brutal and gorgeous at the same time. They look like they're really trying to support the multiplayer aspect with like the.
Oh yeah, they got the map builder and stuff like that.
Yeah, like map builder, and you can, you know, just almost seems like a Minecraft aspect where you can just, you know, they give you all the tools and you can just make crazy stuff. So yeah, it just and I going into E3, I had no expectations for it, you know, because, you know, never played it in the past, but yeah, I'm definitely excited for it.
I had one of those moments like watching that where like I was blown away that it was the first thing that they showed. I was pretty astounded that, you know, like how much they showed of it when they showed that first like indoor chunk, and then they went and they showed the map builder and the multiplayer stuff, and then they came back and they showed like some of the hell areas, like when you go to hell and you're battling demons down there. And like as somebody who like I was kind of in Mike's camp where like I never had it for PC back in the day, but I always just had friends or like, you know, like a family would have it like just like on the computer and stuff like that, and so I'd pick at it here or there, and then I eventually owned it with Doom 64, which I don't know if it sounds like I know, but I fell in love with it though because it was like the only version that I had, and so like as somebody, I still feel like I can say that I grew up with Doom, and when I was watching this footage, I was just like, holy crap, they nailed it. Like to me, it was what Doom 3 probably should have been all along. It's like why couldn't the more recent versions of like Quake and like everything else that they tried to make since then, like that Rage game and stuff like that, like why couldn't they have been this? And I heard that this game was actually in development hell for like a really, really long time, and they had a completely different build of this game that they totally scrapped because somebody at some point was able to admit that what they had wasn't Doom, and they said like the spirit of Doom wasn't in it, so the story goes. And I feel like what they brought to the table at E3 like proved that whatever it was that they were looking for or that they knew was supposed to be there ended up in the game, and I feel like it's going to be awesome. Like that's a day one purchase for me.
Does it have anything to do with this?
Yeah, they're the ones who are developing it.
Okay, so Bethesda's just publishing it?
Oh, they're just publishing it, yeah.
Okay. And obviously John Carmichael doesn't have anything to do with it anymore.
No, he moved on to Oculus, I think.
Yeah, a while ago. In fact, I think they lost a second person from id to Oculus, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Doom 2 has a fantastic moment in my childhood for me. You know, my parents weren't like super crazy about preventing me from playing violent games or movies, but it was always like the edge of their concern. And I got really obsessed with wanting Doom, having played it elsewhere. And for Christmas one year, I woke up to the computer on and Doom 2 loaded on our computer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. And especially because that was the DOS days. So loading a computer game onto the computer meant punching away on a keyboard and screwing up 5 or 6 times and spending 2 hours doing it. So, you know, it was super cool to wake up and be able to play Doom 2. And then, of course, I found as many cheats as I could possibly find, and played the hell out of the game.
Yeah.
And I was working at a GameStop when Doom 3 came out, and I wasn't all that interested in it, but I thought it looked cool. And when I finally sat down to play it years later with the up-res version, I gotta say, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's just slower and more methodical, and it's more of like
Yes.
it's like a slow corridor shooter. And the game actually scared me a lot. I played it
Yeah.
by myself with headphones on frequently, and
Yeah, me too.
I had to turn it off a couple of times because I was
Yep.
just like, I can't do this.
Yeah. So what would you say then you think are the hallmarks of a good Doom game, and how are they reflected in the new trailer?
I think it just needs to be fast and brutal and graphic, and I no, I really do. I just think that like it has the speed there, the weapons were there. Like who knows like what the final game will look like in regards to like maybe for the demo they staged how badass it looks like when you first like whip out or pick up a double barrel shotgun and he looks down at it and kind of like moves it around. That might have just been for that presentation, but just the way those weapons look and feel and the way the enemies react to them and stuff like that. I feel like if you took a shot of like the Doom 5 footage of him running down a corridor or up to an imp and just like blowing it apart with like a double barrel shotgun, and then you like overlaid it with just like the old school Doom 1 footage of that character doing the same thing, it would look like literally just like the evolution of it, like where they evolved the graphics, but they kept the gameplay concept the same. I mean, obviously minus the whole, the limb system that Mike was talking about, where like you look at the legs and you can do a finishing move on the legs or whatever part of the body you want to do it on. But yeah, I just feel like fast, brutal. Got to take place on Mars for at least a chunk of the game, and you got to go to hell at some point, and there's Doom.
Okay.
And I appreciate it for that simplicity.
Gotcha. Mike, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just one thought that I had while watching it for the first time was I remember thinking to myself while watching it, I was like, wow, I could see, why the old Doom fans would like really, be excited for this, as well as I'm like never played a Doom game before, and they're drawing me in, so I mean that's all you can ask for, really, you know, catering to the old fans and bringing in new ones. So yeah, looks awesome.
Scott, how about you? You could probably, I mean, I only had Doom 64, but you actually had Doom. So what did you think watching it?
Maybe I watched a slightly different trailer. I think I watched just like a cinematic trailer or something like that.
Oh, you didn't see actual gameplay?
It's already blurry in my memory because I watched 2 more trailers after that trying to prepare for this, and so I might not have been paying as close attention as I should have been. But it definitely looked, as you described, fast and brutal, and of course graphic.
Yeah.
Which are definitely important in a good Doom game. And maybe I missed it. Was there a heavy metal soundtrack? Because I'm expecting that.
I
think so.
In the Mars part, it's almost like they did. I could be wrong. It was almost like industrial sounding mixed with like a little bit of an electronic vibe, but like definitely like a dark electronic vibe, almost like a Nine Inch Nails vibe versus dubstep.
Well, I would definitely like to see like a really heavy metal soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun to play as a heavy metal fan, of course. But I think Doom is particularly suited for that. Like, I wouldn't want a heavy metal soundtrack in a Call of Duty game or in Spelunky.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe it'd be alright in Spelunky, but if we're going for fast and brutal and graphic, some sort of thrash or death metal, something like that, to like really amp up the energy and I already said energy, but just to amp it up, I think that would be great.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't done so, maybe scrub through the Bethesda press conference. Doom's right there in the beginning, the first thing, and like all told, I want to say that they probably showed between the 2 single-player chunks and the multiplayer and the map editor stuff, there's probably like 15 minutes of Doom 5 footage of gameplay floating around out there.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into it further.
Yeah.
Part of me is a little exhausted on first-person shooters. It has to do something special or interesting now in order to catch my attention, and maybe something like a good Doom, good Doom game that is actually as tight as I want it to be.
Yeah.
Would be would be a fantastic experience.
I feel like they're going to deliver that to you.
Yeah, I'm for it. Another note you have here is that modding tools are built in. Can you expand on that?
Both the PC and console versions. So, okay, so this is crazy. This is like a lot to talk about. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong on this. It not only can you create like multiplayer maps for like yourself and your friends and like upload to the internet and stuff like that for people to download, but it looks like it's like you can. They showed off a segment where you can program AI. Like you can say what enemies are here. You can program waves. You can program like scenarios and stuff like that. All with what looks to be an interface that'll work on both mouse and keyboard and controller. Like it just looks simple. Like it's like Legos sort of. Mm-hmm. It's like Legos meets Doom meets Mario Maker.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot like the Halo Forge, like where you could set, barrels, and I think they spawned like a huge enemy in like a small room or something, if I remember, or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I believe you can upload it to whatever the website is, and I don't know if they told you. Could you can Xbox users get PC created content and vice versa and stuff?
I'm not sure about that. I know for Fallout it works that way, so I'm not sure about Doom, though.
I would hope so. Especially it's going back to Bethesda or Microsoft or Bethesda or id or something like that. Then everybody should be able to pull from the same material.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember... Oh, go on.
I remember back in the day on the original Dooms, my cousin, who turned out to be a computer programmer, had this giant, fat, Idiot's Guide style book on how to edit Doom levels, and that was way before there was the standard modding kit, and he was actually just going in and messing with the code to create new levels, and he made this one level where he painted or wallpapered all of the walls in the level with pictures of himself. And it was impossible to get around because it was the exact same picture for every panel. It was so hard to navigate. But it was cool as hell.
I was gonna say, going back, one more thing I forgot to add into what is Doom. I feel like there needs to be a hell of a lot of secrets in that game, just like secret passageways and doors and panels and.
Yeah. In fact, I totally agree. I was even thinking that the level design needs to change, because one of the things that we've gotten so used to in newer games, especially, Mike, I think you'll agree with Halo, is we have these massive open levels, and something that Doom had were very confined levels, and I think we're ready to try that again.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to see a close corridor-like shooter that's fast, brutal graphic on modern material.
I'm ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make sure that's in there, and if it's not, we'll ask them to scrap it and start over again.
Well, if not, just make your own level.
Oh yeah. Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. It's like we're getting to the point with these games where, you always think how can graphics get any better and stuff like that, but really, how much better does that game need to look? What is the leap from there? I'm not even sure what the answer to that is. And so aside from game creators, making narrative experiences and telling stories and stuff like that, when it comes to just straight up gameplay, the map editors and stuff like that are invaluable, because until they decide that they have another narrative that they want to give players to dig into, just giving us the ability, and obviously it's been this way on PC forever, to just make our own crap, man, that's going to give that game some legs. And the legs that they need also,
Yep, almost infinite replayability.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's also, you're right. It'll give the game legs, and it'll give it that instant replayability, because it happens so fast now that a game becomes passé or the past. How quick did people get over Titanfall?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that game came and went in what seemed like a matter of 3 or 4 months, and people forgot about it.
Yeah, and is anyone even talking about Bloodborne anymore?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Agree that you expected anyway?
Nah, yeah, but you know what? I've still been playing it on and off, and so I checked that PS4, the streaming, whatever the Live from PlayStation app is called on there, and there's still a lot of people playing it. The one thing that I did see somebody complaining, you know what? Never mind. I can go on. We're not talking about Bloodborne here.
All right. Well, then let's move on to Fallout 4.
Yeah.
This is a series that I have never warmed up to.
Hey man, same here.
Okay, cool.
No, I love it. Oh, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, tell us about what Fallout 4 looks like and your expectations versus what you ended up with.
For sure. I'm gonna try to do this pretty fast because like I want to be able to focus on like the games that we're just like super passionate about. So we, otherwise, like we said ahead of time, we're gonna end up with a 5-hour long podcast at this rate. Here's the thing. Fallout 4 I thought looked amazing. I'm one of those people where like I don't need insane I'm gameplay over graphics, but like I wanted the game to look pretty. And when they first released the first trailer for it without the gameplay, I was like, oh man, it doesn't look that good. Like I can see what they're doing with the art style and I appreciate it, but I can't wait to see the gameplay. And I felt like when they showed off the gameplay, where the game starts off like, pre-war and is about you actually getting into a vault and then like emerging out of it. I don't know if it was 100 or 200 years later or whatever it is, but like seeing those environments rendered, like the wasteland rendered with like this new generation console technology and stuff like that, I thought the game looked gorgeous. And like that game's got like I guess the whole crafting system's improved and crazier for just the way you can modify the weapons and stuff like that, but it's also got this thing in the game now where like every little screw or bolt or a piece of wood or piece of crap in the game world that you pick up, I guess all of those items are now like resources that you can use to actually build and modify fortifications and stuff like that and set up booby traps and fend off like waves of Fallout zombies and stuff like that. It's just like the game is bigger and crazier than it's ever been, and it looks better than it's ever looked, and I'm really excited to see how buggy it is or isn't.
So what you're saying is Bethesda's now feeding the OCD inherent in their Elder Scrolls and Fallout games by making that random garbage that you pick up and load your sack with for no good reason useful.
Yeah, basically.
There's one of my favorite Penny Arcade comics is it's like the Broom Dungeon comic where one of them is playing Elder Scrolls and the other guy's watching. He's like, why on earth do you have 500 brooms in your bag? And he's like, oh, come on. What happens if I get to the broom dungeon? And I'm like, oh, man, no broom.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mike, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
You're playing Elder Scrolls, the MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played the other Elder Scrolls games?
Yes. I started with Morrowind. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, do you like those?
Love them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in a similar boat here then. Can you explain to me why you like Elder Scrolls and don't like the Fallout series?
I don't. Put simply, I don't know.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. Have you tried playing Fallout yet, Mike?
Yes. Actually,
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, like a week before E3, I put back in Fallout 3.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, I noticed my character's like level 10 or something, so I don't know if I gave it enough of a chance, but I don't know. I think I love like the crafting and all that stuff, that is sucked out of the Skyrim universe, but I don't know. I think it's like the shooting mechanics. Like I don't know. I hate like that VAT system, and I don't know. I don't like the shooting aspect of it. And I don't know, yeah, I think I get sucked a lot easier into like a fantasy world rather than post-apocalypse maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if they tweak the shooting mechanic a little more to, I don't know, make it feel better or something, or get rid of the VAT where you have to select where you want to shoot. I don't know. I'm definitely going to give the new one a go, though, for sure.
Okay. Matt, do you like the Elder Scrolls series as well, or do you prefer Fallout?
Yeah. Here's the I'm like I loved Morrowind. I played it on when it finally came to Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Man, that was a busted game.
It was, yeah. There were some game-breaking bugs in it actually, which I encountered. I couldn't go any further in the main quest at one point until I I had to start over and look up online, and the internet wasn't what it is today, and figure out how to not loot the item that I wasn't supposed to loot because it broke the. It's weird crap like that. But I still loved it nonetheless. And then Oblivion came out, and it didn't quite do it for me. I don't know if it was the setting. I don't know what it was. And then Skyrim came out, and the PS3 version was broken. I played that game for literally. Have you played the beginning of Skyrim, Scott, or Skyrim at all?
Oh yeah. I played about 40 hours of Skyrim.
And you're in the beginning, and you're on the wagon, and you're going to be beheaded and stuff like that. And when you're supposed to get off the wagon, literally my character was stuck on the wagon. And I tried jumping and spinning and pressing every combination of buttons I could to like dislodge myself from that. And I literally said, F this game, and I turned it off. And I did turn it back on. Obviously, I could not. I think it was just like the next day or something like that. And yeah, long story short, I only got a couple hours into it, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it. Which is why I was super hesitant to try to get into ESO, because I have these fond memories of like Morrowind, and I was watching all these people stream Elder Scrolls Online. I watched Mike play a little bit on his Twitch channel, and I'm happy to say that despite it all, I'm loving it. Unlike, I guess, Mike, I guess the one thing that I loved about Fallout was the post-apocalyptic wasteland and sci-fi, and I loved the VAT system and the shooting mechanics and like just exploring underground tunnels and all like the weird, crazy stuff in that game. I liked both Fallout 3 and New Vegas, but I also grew up with the Fallout games on PC. I was never able to beat them; they were always way too hard for me, but I always played the crap out of them. Despite that, and so I really loved seeing that evolution. Like, just seeing the world in first person for the first time has always kind of blown my mind.
Okay.
So why didn't you? Why were you not a Fallout fan? Or what failed to suck you into it?
I think the word is drab. I'm not at all away to another world. I'm sitting. I mean, the game's called Fallout, and I'm sitting in the fallout of a nuclear either war or mishap. And for as much as I love sci-fi, and I'm just as much in favor of post-apocalyptic stuff, there was nothing inviting about the gameplay experience or the world set that made me want to keep playing. I was fascinated once it was explained to me, like the crafting systems or like the need to maintain your gear to stay alive outside and all that. And that's the sort of stuff I really appreciate in a game, but I never felt like it was integrated in such a way where it engaged me. It just felt like an encumbrance, or I shouldn't say an encumbrance, just an obstacle. And it certainly lacks the charm of the Elder Scrolls series. Even though I grew weary of the run and fetch structure of the Elder Scrolls games, it was at least a gorgeous world. I liked just running around and looking at things. Whereas in Fallout 4, I wasn't at all engaged in the world set or the narrative. So it never caught my interest. I used to sit and watch my buddy Will play it, and I watched him play a lot of games, and I enjoy watching people play video games, but I was bored to tears by Fallout.
Huh.
So
yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, it's part of the same for me also. Where I was kind of like I said, I played it for a few hours, a couple weeks ago, and I think I just kind of I was just playing it just because I'm like, man, this game has such a big following. What am I missing? What am I missing out of this? But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and even when I watched the trailer, not the one from E3, but the one before it, there was that teaser. When I watched the teaser, I was still just as uninterested as I was before.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Except there's a cute dog. I
know
about that.
And he's invincible.
Oh, good.
In Fallout 3, your dog could die, and then they released DLC later on where it could die, but technically there was a litter of them or something like that, so you would keep getting it back, sort of.
You just get a clone of it or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. To summarize Fallout 4, unless you guys want to keep talking about it, I'm excited about it. I really liked what they showed. I kind of thought at first that I guess I was going into E3 expecting Fallout 4 to be my game of the show, but it just didn't end up doing that for me. I was like, this game to me looks amazing, and I can't wait to play it, and I'm of course going to buy it on day one because I love Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that, but like I'm done. I don't need to know anything more about it. I don't want more previews. I don't want to know anything more about it. I just want to play it. Like, that's all.
Yeah, I may watch a few streams of it that opening week, see, if I'm able to, if that's able to keep my interest, then maybe I'll, definitely give it a go. But
you mean you're gonna go to twitch.tv/30andnerdy and watch our stream?
That's 30 THI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is anyone interested in the Fallout Shelter iOS game?
I'm rocking a super slow Android phone right now, and the fact that I couldn't download that bummed me out. Yeah. I want to play it. I hear it's pretty fun.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you could download it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I still can't bring myself to game on my phone. It is a less than ideal medium for me to game on. I still can't even really bring myself to get like a DS or something, which I know is great.
Yeah.
I owned a Game Boy Advance and a DS for a long time, and I used them for a little bit, and then when I put them down, I didn't miss them.
Okay.
Even though I know there are good games I would like to play, but.
Sounds like you need to pick up Pokemon X and Y, my friend, or Alpha, or Ruby, Sapphire.
My buddy's kid was playing Pokemon. I think he said Y, and he was telling me all about the game, and I was watching him, and yeah, I mean, it looks like fun, but.
That's the key word. So Fallout Shelter came out. They announced it there, and you could download it after the conference.
That was
it's available now, in other words.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool that they did that.
Yeah. Anybody really follow the Dishonored game?
Nope.
Anyone interested in the definitive edition?
I am interested in that because.
What defines the definitive edition?
Oh, it's just I think all the DLC that they released for it comes in it, and it's they're just better textures and frame rate, and that's so funny about this generation. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but like a lot of people are pissed off about the definitive editions. I accept the fact that everything that we got on Xbox 360 and especially PS3 in a lot of cases were just like really shitty versions of like otherwise good PC games, and like so it's like now we're getting the good PC version because and yeah, I do. I finally want to play that game.
Okay. Yeah, I never had a chance to play it. It looked fun, but I wasn't dying to get to it.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Interesting. Interesting fact about that game. At least I'm pretty sure it's a fact. Now I can't say it's a fact. I think
so it's conjecture at this point.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure that the gentleman who was the lead artist on Half-Life 2, like he left Valve for whatever reason, and he went on to do the art direction for Dishonored, and I think it's why it has such a unique look to like its character designs and like the robots and the streets and like the mechs that the people walk around in and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something like that too. Now.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
So the next, apparently they announced an Elder Scrolls card game.
Yeah, but they were sort of just like, here's artwork. We're making a card game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is he gonna do like what was that, Hearthstone, which I play a lot now and I love it, and yeah, so I'm kind of like excited to see what they do because I'm, as of this moment right now, way more invested in like the Elder Scrolls universe than I am the World of Warcraft universe. So if like they can pull out an awesome card game that doesn't just blatantly rip off Hearthstone, I'm all for it.
Okay. Mike, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, is that going to be like a mobile game? Does anyone know? Is that console?
I have no idea.
Well, like Hearthstone, like right now is one of those games you can play it on PC, tablets, and your phone, and it's your same account running across all devices. So it'd be cool if they at least did that.
Yeah.
So it's not a physical card game?
No, it's all digital.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I might give it a try. Who knows? We'll see.
All right. Well, let's move on to Microsoft then.
Yeah.
There's a
gotta try to pick up the pace a little too.
Yeah. There's Microsoft hit us with something really big, and for as much as I don't care about Microsoft as a video game powerhouse, I think the 360 backwards compatibility for the Xbox One is a tremendous, brilliant move, and I'm really glad that they added it. But since Mike is our Microsoft guy, Mike, what do you think of 360 backwards compatibility for the Xbox One?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty amazing. Um, yeah, I like when because I have one of the first gen 360s, and then I have like like the newer, slimmer one. So I was first like, sweet, I can move my slimmer one to my upstairs TV, and then I'll just need my one downstairs. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. What was it, like 100 games before like December or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Um,
question. Also,
yeah.
once you're done. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Like, is there anything? I don't know if you looked at a list or not of like any of the games. I didn't really, but like, was there anything that when you heard that announcement that you were like, oh my god, I still really love playing this, and I would totally use this for this?
Um, let's see. Yeah, maybe I don't know. See, I play like a lot of weird games on 360. So I play like Formula One, like racing simulators and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, if that comes out on if that's one of them, Matt, as you know, I'm sure this game's not going to be backwards compatible, but London 2012 Olympics.
You never know, man. You never know.
That is one of the greatest drinking video games of all time, setting those world records. But yeah, I mean, maybe the old Gears games would, kind of be fun doing horde mode. Yeah, it's gonna, and then, but at the same time, it's still fairly new in, these new consoles and everything. So I think, how I feel about some of the original Xbox games and how I'd love to play them. I think later on down the road, a year or two, I'll be like, oh man, I'd really like to play, Halo Reach or something.
Okay,
So,
yeah, fair enough.
still kind of early, but for those games to take on like a nostalgic turn. But yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be.
Does that mean
awesome.
you were also expecting, hopefully down the line, that they'll make the Xbox One backwards compatible to the original Xbox?
Oh no! Oh gosh.
I would like that. That
That
might
would be
actually sell
amazing.
a lot, actually, yeah.
That'd be amazing. Playing Fusion Frenzy and stuff. Heck yeah. But no, I'm just saying, like, I think it's gonna, as more time passes and I become more disconnected with some of those games, I'll be like, oh man, I really, I'm a sucker for, picking up old games. So, yeah, I think as more time passes and more titles are announced, it'll be, really, hit home with me. So, yeah, that's amazing that they're doing that.
Cool. Matt, what are your thoughts on backwards compatibility?
No, I think it's awesome. I was also listening to some interviews with Phil Spencer since the E3 press conference and stuff like that, and he said that what he actually got that team to do was emulate an entire Xbox 360 inside the Xbox One. So it's not like it's running emulation of like those games specifically. It's like the whole Xbox 360, like I said. I was just like, wow, it just seemed like such a monumental task, and I believe he said it was, and it was just like a crazy amount of programming for them to figure out how to do it. But I guess it's because they emulated the whole Xbox 360 that a lot of the features in those games, I believe that were like Xbox, that they needed like that version of Xbox Live to work properly and stuff like that. I think all of that stuff is still fully intact, and the only thing that doesn't work because it was too hard of a programming issue was the Kinect functionality for those games. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool. Like, as somebody who doesn't own an Xbox One and I don't have a 360, so I don't have a 360 library of games that I'm missing out on. Like, that kind of bums me out. But because we didn't get an announcement of like a Mass Effect, trilogy, HD trilogy, or anything like that, I think that one of the first 20 games that they have released for the trial version of this program is like the first Mass Effect, and I just think that's really cool. I appreciate it, and I really, compared to what Sony has right now, which is like, their PlayStation Now service, where it's like, pay us money for these games you still already own, and then you can stream them on your PS4, and they'll look weird and play, like not be as responsive and stuff like that. It makes what Sony's doing on that front kind of sound like garbage to me, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I can't remember. Does anyone know? I don't know. I remember hearing something about it. Maybe it was just speculation. Saves from 360, are those gonna? Can you know what I'm saying? Like, can I?
oh,
You know what I'm saying? Can I get like my old game? I don't know why. I thought I heard that. I don't want to
that'd be really
say
cool
that's
if
the
you
case.
could.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I know that on the PS3, whenever you would play PS1 and PS2 games on it, the PS3 system would actually create a virtual memory card.
Mm-hmm.
So then you could, I forget how you did it.
It actually just it offered you the option. It just did it for you if you said yes.
Yeah, so you could do stuff like that. So I'd imagine they'd have thought of stuff like that,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be able to play Mass Effect 1 all over again and start from scratch. It'd probably be like a whole other level of cool if you could just transfer your save over and have all that progress.
Especially if they ever decide that they want to add another Mass Effect game to link in with your previous saves.
Yeah.
Or other games like it.
So yeah, I thought it was exciting news.
Yes.
So what's the deal with the Xbox One Elite controller?
Oh man.
It's $150 for a controller, and what do you get for that?
Did you research it yet, Mike?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what was it? There's like 4 paddle buttons, I believe, that you can put on the bottom of the controller to program to buttons, and I forgot what it's made out of. Isn't it made out of like something crazy also, like
steel,
aluminum, something? Yeah.
Yeah, the body itself is steel, and then I guess the control sticks are like some incredibly strong plastic.
Yes. Yeah, and they're supposed to like never wear or anything.
Right.
That would be nice.
I don't know. I hate to. I mean, the price sucks, but I will probably pick it up. I probably will. But I want to say there's also like a freaking app for your phone, so you can like program from your phone what you want each button. It sounds awesome. So
yeah.
For me, gaming, like the reason I don't know, one of the big reasons I don't play PlayStation really is man, the Xbox controllers just, I don't know, they just cater to my hands. I love them, and anytime I try to pick up a PS4 one, 3, just doesn't feel right. So, yeah, I'm actually really pumped about that.
All right. Any other thoughts on it?
Minus the price tag. Yeah. I think $100 would have been, they still would have probably made money on it, but they're greedy.
Yeah. You can swap out some of the components, like you can swap out the control stick nubs. I don't know if you can swap out triggers, but like a lot of the parts are
D-pad, I think, also.
Yeah, are removable and customizable and stuff like that.
But yeah, the controller is such a huge part. That's what you're, physically, commanding your characters and everything to do. So
it's like
if they can, immerse me in that more, make it, more customizable, I'm all for it.
It's like people who buy like really fancy, I don't even know what the word is, knobs for their stick shifters in their cars.
Yeah. Shift knob. Yeah.
Yeah, the shift knobs. I don't know.
Except it's even more interactive than that. Like Mike was saying, this is how you control your game, and if it's something that falls apart over time, maybe it's worthwhile investing decent money into something that doesn't give way. I haven't really had too much trouble with any of my controllers since like the Super Nintendo era. Well, I guess that's not true. Some of the N64 controllers, the joystick wore down pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Man, the original Xbox ones, man, going to LAN parties, play Halo and stuff, all the wear and tear. Oh man.
Oh really?
I went through those things like crazy. Yeah.
Oh wow. No, mine held up pretty good, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't do enough of it. All right, cool. So, Elite controller is coming out. Might be worth the money. Mike's getting one. We'll have him report back.
Yep.
Anyone have anything to say on Minecraft? On HoloLens? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, man. Am I the only Minecraft player in here?
I don't play it, but I thought the demo was really impressive. If it was, in fact, a live demo and not pre-recorded stuff that guy was just moving to.
Yeah, that was my one concern. It seemed, I don't know. It went really smooth.
HoloLens is their augmented reality technology, so not VR. You can still see your entire living space, but the game world will come alive on whatever surface you tell it to come alive on.
Is that the thing where it's essentially a pair of glasses that then projects an image over reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That thing has a fantastic reputation. People
Okay.
have used it. People who have used it said it's freakishly good.
Huh.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, they were showing stuff in this demo this year where like they had his like Minecraft village and like the house there and stuff like that, and he could just like lean in over the table and be like looking inside the house and then pull his head out and it was like the outside and it's just like the tech looks insane.
Yeah, I cannot like imagine going into like my Minecraft world and being able to pinch and drag and see what's below, see if it's worth mining down there to get these resources. Oh man, yeah.
Is it just regular Minecraft with this device?
Yeah, but
that's what it looked like. Yeah.
The difference is when it was projected on here. Like a regular Minecraft is you got like that first person or whatever. Everyone knows what Minecraft is. This looked like imagine what you built but represented in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, Matt? The 3DS. Those like AR cards. How like sometimes it tells you to like, doesn't it like interact with like?
Oh yeah.
Some of the space. Yeah. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Like very primitive version, but yeah. Oh man, yes. Super excited to see. And that was Minecraft. I can't imagine what else could come from that technology. So.
Yeah, last year the tech demo, one of the tech demos that they showed. No, it wasn't a tech demo. I think it was like a proof of concept video of like the mechanic sitting there beside the motorcycle and being able to swap out parts in real time. With the motorcycle model there in front of him and crap like that. I can't even imagine what's got to go into like programming all that stuff. But like hopefully, if the technology is good, that people will figure out how to develop for it.
Yes, I'm excited.
All right. So then there's a collection of rare games, the Rare Replay Game Collection.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right. All right, well, start us off, Mike. Tell us about it.
I was texting Matt during this this conference, and they announced the Rare, Replay, which is I think 30 games. And I was texting Matt. I was like, "Oh man, dude! Oh my gosh! I hope Jet Force Gemini is in this collection because I will. This will be the game of E3 And lo and behold, I found an image of the box art on the internet, and there's Vela from Jet Force Gemini, and I was just like, oh, yes, that guy. It was a really sleeper game for my E3. It really it made my E3.
Are you saying game of the show? The rare collection?
Oh man. Well, here's the thing. I'm like a big achievement nerd. I love doing achievement hunting and trying to unlock all the achievements in games. And the thought of being able to unlock achievements while playing Jet Force Gemini, that game is just so dear to my heart. I played the heck out of that game.
Yeah.
The multiplayer and everything. So. Yes.
Yeah, the multiplayer was okay. Do you know in that pack is it also like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie? Are those in there also?
Yeah, I saw Banjo for sure. I saw what was it? Conker's Bad Fur Day, I believe.
Okay. They got a bunch of old rare games in there,
yeah.
like old 8 and 16-bit rare games are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Battletoads,
yes. Oh man.
I think a lot. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I geeked out about that game so hard. I went to see which day August 4th was, and so I could try and I'm gonna plan my days off of work around the release of that. I'm just going to plow through Jet Force Gemini. Oh man.
You're gonna have to give us an honest assessment when the time comes if that game holds up at all. Because I have really fond memories of it also. Kind of like you, everything from the gameplay, the characters to the music, just the scope of that adventure,
the music was awesome. Yes.
I want to know if it holds up and how it controls on.
I was gonna say that's the big thing is not needing to use those gosh darn C buttons to move. Have 2 joysticks. Oh man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
So everybody's pretty pumped about the Rare.
All right, game of the show runner-up right there.
Yeah, for sure. I know you guys mentioned some of the games, but what was the extent of the 30 games that they're including? Where where's the cutoff? Does it stop like before the 64? I mean, obviously
Um,
for Gemini, but like where are they walking this line?
when did they get picked up by Microsoft? I don't even remember. I want to say probably
360.
yeah, it was 360 days. That's right.
Yeah, because Cameo was a game that they made for.
Oh yeah,
was their
that's
first game, I
on
think,
there.
for Microsoft.
Viva Pinatas, I know.
Oh,
Oh,
that
you
game's
know
so
what?
fun.
They
I
must
never
have
played
been.
them.
They must have been picked up actually during the Xbox days though, because Conker's Bad Fur Day got like a HD remake for the regular Xbox.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
But it's so it's everything from like Rare's 8 and 16-bit days, and then it's got some of the N64 games on there, obviously, as we mentioned. And I don't know if they put stuff like Grabbed by the Ghoulies and Cameo on there. I don't know if that stuff's on there or
I
not.
think Cameo's
Basically,
on
there's
there.
no chance that we're getting GoldenEye.
No, unfortunately. Oh man.
Oh yeah, why is that? Did Nintendo publish that? Is that why?
Maybe.
Maybe
The
Nintendo-
rights for GoldenEye have been very weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to do with the rights for like the James Bond franchise, I believe, something like
Yeah,
that.
because there was that awful remake that basically was nothing like the original, but it still had
Yeah.
the same name.
Yep.
Interesting.
Jeff vs. Gemini.
Jet Force Gemini. All right. So next up was Halo 5. Tell us about Halo 5. What is going on with Halo, by the way? I kind of checked out after 3.
You know what? I went to the midnight release of Halo 4. I don't know if I'm going to for 5. I'm just so. Oh man, it's as a huge Halo fan. I mean, I have action figures of Halo like still in the boxes and stuff. I'm a huge fan, but just like I don't know, this whole trying to make it like a detective story, and I don't know.
Do you think 343 taking over is the worst thing to happen to it, or did it not seem like it was going to be so bad at first?
Story writing wise, maybe. I still play the Master Chief Collection, like I said, for the nostalgia, from Halo 2, Halo 3. Yeah, I'm, going through all the campaigns on Legendary for my second time now, but yeah, I don't know. Halo 4 story just kind of lacked for me. They made it, I don't know. The story's really, really fallen apart for me. The Warzone, I think that's the name of it, Warzone gameplay looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm needless to say, I'm definitely gonna pick it up, but it's getting harder. It's getting harder.
Hopefully it surprises you.
I know, yeah.
So I'm just trying to sum up here, or trying to recontextualize, I suppose. What you saw in Halo 5 did not excite you enough. So
story-wise, no.
Story-wise.
The Warzone gameplay looks.
What is that about? I don't know.
It's 12v12. Matt, isn't there there's enemy AI? Is there bots in it or something? Do you remember?
To be honest, I
Oh my
tuned
God,
it out.
Bots? We haven't seen bots in a long time.
Yeah.
So is it like 12v12 with AI? So basically
That's
like
what I thought,
a massive
yeah.
horde mode?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's cool.
But yeah,
Warzone, that
it
makes
looks
sense.
it looks big, and that's where Halo really capitalized in the beginning was those awesome matches on Blood Gulch and stuff and just these massive maps with so much going on. So that's the thing I'm most excited for.
Okay.
I don't know about the story.
Well, how about we follow up with Halo like we do with Doom? Like, what constitutes a good Halo game for you?
Good Halo game. Well, it's definitely the game mechanics and the way the game feels. Matt, I remember you talking about this in your Destiny podcast. I don't know how I remember, but you like something the way Bungie, initially the feel of the game, and it's kind of got a you described it as a stickiness, but it's so smooth and
Yeah,
the-
kind of like
the-
a
the
signature
ga-
feel for their stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be that solid gameplay. And yeah, I think the problem with Halo 4 for me was just really hard for me to, the enemies, I didn't really get what their plot was, with Halo 3 and stuff, the Flood, it's all really linear and yeah, I don't know. Just it's gotta just the writing and the story is really what needs to vamp up for me.
Sounds like something about it just rubbed you the wrong way.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That
What
sounded
did you say, Matt?
funny.
Sorry, What did you say, Matt?
Oh, I was saying it just sounds like something about it overall rubbed him the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like I didn't feel engaged. I didn't feel compelled to,
There you go.
fight the Prometheans in Halo 4. So I'm pretty sure they're back in Halo 5. So I just, whatever. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna, go into it with an open mind, and because I believe Halo 4 was 343's first, true game. So hopefully they got the bugs out, and hopefully it's 5 is a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, what did you think?
Like I said, I had admittedly tuned out Halo. I haven't. I was really excited for Halo 3 when it came out, and I played it, and I loved it. And for me, it was everything that 2 wanted to be, but just kind of realized in my eyes. And then after that, I fell off the Xbox bandwagon, and I sold my 360, and I played ODST a little bit with Gina because when we started dating, she had a 360 and a copy of that game, and I was like, all right, cool, ODST is pretty fun. It's like Halo 3 expansion, and I appreciated it for being just that, but like literally after that, I never played Reach, I never played 4, and so I don't have any feelings about 5 either way. Like I hope that people like Mike and all the Halo fans out there, I hope it's a good game, So.
Yeah, another thing I know they did away with was no more split screen. You have to, do it. But
No local multiplayer, in other words?
No.
Boo.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I know they one thing where they tried to win everyone back was you don't need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play multiplayer online. So, but
That's a huge exception.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's this no local multiplayer thing is a major pet peeve of mine because it is one of the most enjoyable experiences and one of the greatest advantages for console gaming, and they are ripping it from the roots out of the experience, and it's obnoxious. We used to be able to play GoldenEye 4 players, and you can't do that on any of the newer games, and for sure these newer games these newer systems are more powerful and capable of running a game at that caliber.
Yep.
Nintendo's
the only one left.
Yeah. Literally today, Gina texted me. She's like, my sister invited us over for dinner. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, bring Mario Kart and the controllers over. And she's like, yeah. And it's just like, we're gonna go play 4-player split-screen Mario Kart tonight.
Yep.
Those days are a lot of consoles those days are numbered. Yeah, it's some of my fondest gaming memories are LAN parties for Halo and stuff. And
Same here.
Just
running 16 people across somebody's house.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So fun.
Yep. Or if you had a really cool school, some of the cool school teachers would stay after and let us play on the projectors and stuff. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I think about it, but yeah, I'm very fortunate to have been at that age level when landing and stuff was for Halo was the thing.
Same here.
To experience it
Totally.
before the demise.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna toss this one to Matt. Recore from Mega Man's creator Kenji Inafune.
Yeah, it was really brief. It was just like a CG trailer. Oh man, I'm trying to even remember what it was about. It was like this girl, and she's running through a wilderness area, and she's got some sort of a robot with her, and they get into a conflict with more robot things or whatever, and then her little robot companion dies in the conflict. And actually, for as short as the trailer was, it was kind of sad. They were able to evoke a certain sadness in that short amount of time. But then when it dies, she's able to take the core, this spherical thing, out of its, we'll say chest area, whatever, out of its body, and put it into this other mechanical beast that she was in the process of trying to kind of uncover in some sort of a tomb, and then that thing comes alive and I forget how they show this, but it almost looks like it was still the personality of her little robot beast that died, but it was like in the body of like a newer, bigger mechanical thing. So, and then the trailer pretty much ended after that. It's like Recore, and so we don't know anything about storyline or gameplay or anything, but it's got Inafune's name on it, and so people are excited about it. And for what it's worth, it looked cool. It's a new IP also, which people were really excited about it. Microsoft said, "Hey, we're going to show off like new exclusive IPs at our conference and whatnot." And I don't know if that was the only one or not, but that was definitely one of them, and it kind of looked cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. What is game preview?
Do you know what that is, Mike? I wrote down that.
The game preview?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where. That's the. Actually, I just got. It's weird. I got a message from Xbox today saying I can download it.
Oh.
Yeah, from what I understand, if this is the same thing we're talking about, it's the thing where it's going to be like some sort of app on the Xbox, where I'm assuming indie developers and I would assume big developers as well. They can put it almost seems like a beta, like a beta type program, just to get feedback and see what needs to be fixed and really engage with the fans and cater to them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like I wrote down here, it's Steam Early Access for Xbox One.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then I think, I could be wrong about this, but I believe that like Steam Early Access, that you can actually purchase the games in their early state and then keep downloading updates for them throughout the development. And I don't know if Early Access does this or not, but Microsoft said that one of the things that they make sure is that every game that's in their preview program or whatever, like there needs to be a free demo of it, so people need to be able to try it before they even download this earlier version of it.
Yeah, I remember hearing that as well. Like I said, it's I think it'll only make the games better and what the fans want. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea. In theory, Steam Early Access has been under fire quite a bit recently because some of these games don't get finished, and so people buy the unfinished game and it never gets the final polish. Sometimes the company just goes under. Sometimes they ignore it. There are a lot of different reasons for it. Also, sometimes the game just turns out to be crap in the long run, no matter what. So, for as much as I like the idea of the sort of like mass beta testing, I don't know that the proof for that model has really shown itself. But maybe with someone like Microsoft behind it, they'll push harder for it, or maybe they'll be more stringent on what they allow in their game preview or early access section.
Yeah.
And is it available to all Xbox owners?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So it's not like if you have to have live gold or anything like that.
I was gonna. Well, actually, as I was saying that, I was like, well, do you have to have gold? You might have to have gold. That I don't know, but it's I think I want to say everyone can download it.
Okay. Cool. Gears of War 4. Anyone excited about that?
Well. After I just got done. I think the beta just got taken off yesterday for the Gears of War remake. Gears 4, yeah, it looks. I don't know. I'll probably pick it up. The thing about Gears of War games, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The games seem kind of douchey to me. It seems like
I completely agree.
I should be wearing like tap out clothing and drinking a Monster or something when I'm playing those games. Just kind of that's the vibe I get. But hey, they're fun.
It's the over-exaggerated aesthetic, The guys with arms literally as long as tree trunks and necks bigger than their face.
Yeah. All the Gears of War guys used to wear tap out clothes, I bet. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Horde mode, man. Horde mode's what I think. Horde mode in Gears is what kind of turned a lot of game companies into putting that mode in games. So.
Yeah, very true.
What's the deal with Horde mode?
Oh, just waves. There's
okay.
just waves of enemies, and you have to hold your ground and defend spots. And at the end of a round, you might get some heavy weapons. Actually, Destiny in their new update, they kind of did like a horde type mode also. So, yeah, definitely a lot of games. I mean, a lot of games. Implementing it. So they're the originators of it in my eyes. So. I'm really excited for it just for that aspect. The story was pretty cool also.
For
you guys have never played it.
For Gears 4, Mike, I'm curious to see what you thought about the on-stage demo itself, because I mean, the game, at least in my eyes, it looked a little bit janky. Like obviously, it's still early in development. Like the game is over a year away, so I feel like you could tell it wasn't running particularly smoothly.
No.
It was very rough around the edges, but I feel like the chunk that they decided to show, while they had the potential to come off as being like very cinematic, I just felt like it was really underwhelming. Kind of like, and I think I texted you this, so I'm just gonna paraphrase myself. Whereas Sony's The Order 1886 got criticized for pretty much being a giant like walking simulator, like when it released, and like where the gameplay didn't look that good. It's almost like Gears of War, at least the chunks that they showed. It was like sort of like the same thing. Like, why are you demoing walking around and at nighttime and pointing at stuff and like trying to create like this spooky atmosphere? That's all it was. Like, let's say they showed it for 5 minutes. It could have been longer or shorter. The point is, 4.5 minutes out of that 5 minutes would have been walking around, looking at stuff, listening to the characters talk, and then for like the last minute to 30 seconds at the end, like 2 enemies jumped out and they shot at them for a little bit, and it's like, all right, Gears of War is still in development. And so, like I said, I don't want to be too hard on it because it's early, and it was really cool that they showed it off, especially if it was legitimately like a live gameplay demonstration. But I feel like, man, what they chose to show, like, how is that the best thing you have to show right now?
Just show show that last minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're just probably playing it safe for E3, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the having just played the beta for the new one, it looked awesome. Like, chainsawing through people and like seeing like the reflection of the the light from the sun on their innards was awesome. It was cool. I felt like a douche while I did it, but oh well.
You were.
I know.
All right, and then for the one that I know at least a little bit about, Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
The one I know the least about.
I got a couple things to say about this.
Do it.
I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick. I've been walking around. I'll be right back, okay?
All right. Well, you want us to keep going, or you want us to wait?
Yeah. Just keep going. I'll chime in the little bit that I have for Tomb Raider.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'll be right back.
I was gonna say that it really, really bothers me that this game, as far as it looks right now, is an Xbox One exclusive, and it bothers me because, well, I don't have an Xbox One. And you know what? The first Tomb Raider reboot game that we got a couple years ago, or however long it was now, like, I loved that game.
Yeah.
When I reviewed it for 30 and Nerdy on the old version of the website, I glowed about it. I genuinely ended up liking it about as much as the Uncharted series. Like, I wasn't sure if I liked it as much as Uncharted 2, but I definitely liked it more than 3, and I appreciated it for, like a first product from that studio and everything that they did with that game. And it really bums me out that as of right now we haven't, at least I'm still pretty sure we haven't got like a solid statement as far as whether or not it's a timed exclusive or 100% exclusive. And for as much as I loved that game, I'm not going to buy an Xbox One just to play it.
Yeah. The last I heard, and this was quite a while ago already, is that it's not that it will be a timed exclusive, something like 6 months or 8 months or something like that before it opens up. And I'm willing to wait that long because I'm not going to buy an Xbox One just for this game, but I do really want to play because I think I liked the reboot Tomb Raider about as much as you did. After finishing it, I went, what would be great is if we got a Nathan Drake, Lara Croft team-up game. If they were able to write as interesting and thematic of a story for an Uncharted game and included Lara Croft and Nathan Drake in it, with elements from both, I would be very excited. And I was pretty excited by the trailer I saw too, actually already an hour ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks exciting.
The ice part?
Yeah.
See, that was another one of those gameplay trailers where I watched it and I said to myself, I know this game's going to be amazing, which I felt like you could already tell from like the 30-second sizzle reel they showed at the end of all those parts. But that snow part to me was just kind of like, this is what you showed? Like,
oh, that's funny. Yeah, that won me over.
Okay, well, you know what? That's awesome then, because if there's more people, like you out there who are like, no, I thought it looked awesome, then they did exactly what they set out to do with that.
Yeah, because my favorite part is the exploration.
Same here.
Like, even though the mechanics in Uncharted and Tomb Raider were really great for combat, I always rolled my eyes and went, oh, here we go, another piece of combat, and grumbled through it, even though I was still having fun.
Yeah. Side note, speaking of the Sony and the PlayStation Network and stuff like that, I don't know how much longer it's going, if it's today or tomorrow or Monday, whatever. Point being, you can grab with a PlayStation Network or whatever the PlayStation Plus discount. Yeah, you can get the definitive edition of the first Tomb Raider game on PS4 for $12.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Cool.
It's like 60% off or something like that. It's pretty cheap now as it is, but.
Oh, that's great. I've got it on my PC and I run it at 1440, so.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. I thought about grabbing it, but I don't like doing it's on sale, so I have to grab it. I feel like that's a slippery slope, and I'm not going to do it. So.
Yeah, but it is a great game. That's one that would be worth it.
Yeah.
But you already have a copy, yes?
No, I had it for PS3, and I played it, and I reviewed it, and I started a second playthrough of it, and I traded it back in.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Ended up regretting it, actually.
Well, maybe that $12 will seal that hole in your chest.
I might end up grabbing it. Like $12, I'm gonna spend that at Chipotle,
Yeah.
and then poop it out.
So Tomb Raider, Mike, do you have anything you want to add about Tomb Raider before I ask you a larger question?
Yeah. My experience with Tomb Raider, PlayStation 1, there was like a demo disc I had.
I think I know exactly the disc you're talking about.
There was like a waterfall and like a stone. I was in this stone quarry cave place, and I never beat it. And I don't know. The new one looks awesome though, with like the ice falling and the ice climbing and stuff. And I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't know. I don't do many action adventure games. I don't think. I'm trying to think. I mean, I do like Assassin's Creed and stuff, but I don't know. I think that's another one kind of like Doom, where I just never played. I wasn't able to beat that demo, and I think I just hold a grudge against that game.
Well, this only being my personal humble opinion, but I hated the Tomb Raider games for the longest time because I thought they were legitimately unplayable. They looked like garbage. They controlled like garbage. They weren't interesting. They didn't make sense. Like
she could. I remember like the controls were like you just like stop running and like she'd keep running like 3 extra steps or something. You had to do like these really precise like jumps and stuff. I was like, how the hell am I gonna do this if? Yeah.
40% of your experience was climbing back up to where the game threw you off of.
Yeah.
No fault of your own. Yeah. However, I heard so many good things, partly from Matt, partly from some other people, about the Crystal Dynamics reboot game. And so I decided one day when it was cheap on Steam to give it a shot, and that is a legitimately tight experience. And I particularly like the theme of survival that they work into the gameplay, it's not too much into the gameplay, because it's only that beginning portion where you have to build a fire and whatnot, and hunt for food.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite parts too.
That's what I want to play. Like, I want to play a game where you have to get from one part of the island to another, and you have to figure your way across, and you have to try and find a way to survive. And I'm not as interested in fending off all these bad guys and just, puncturing myself through these little stages of the island. But at the same time, every second of that game was entertaining.
Did you beat that game?
I beat that game and I started it a second time, which is very rare for me.
I was going to say, not to spoil anything, so I'll kind of tiptoe around this, but when you get towards the middle chunk of the game and you start seeing how depraved certain parts of the island have become and just how psychotic they are, like those moments in that game are just like, oh my god, I couldn't believe that they went in directions like that with a Tomb Raider game.
And that's what I love about the arc of the story, is that it takes you through the various stages that these people have fallen to in order to survive, and the weird stuff that they convince themselves that exists or don't exist, and the extremes that they go through to keep themselves and their select group of people alive and well. And that's the arc that Lara Croft experiences as she goes as well, because she's trying to keep herself alive as well as her friends, and then you start to think, well, what makes her quest to stay alive and keep her friends alive more legitimate than these other people?
Mike, you got to play it.
You know what I forgot where I heard it, but someone said I'm a sucker for bows and arrows in video games, and someone said the bow and arrow in Tomb Raider just feels amazing.
It does.
I used it almost exclusively.
You can also you can do cool stuff like there's contextual places in the environment where you can use the bow and arrow with a rope and create zip lines. You can use the bow and arrow with the rope on enemies to like do cool stuff and like hit them, and I believe you can like pull them back and just like all sorts of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Highly suggest it. And as Matt mentioned, it's cheap on PS Plus right now.
He only has. You check out Xbox prices. It might be cheap there too.
One other question. Why are we talking about this game from Microsoft? Is it a Microsoft exclusive?
It is, as far as we can tell. There was rumor a while ago that it's a timed exclusive, and that after maybe 8 months or a year or something like that, it'll open up to others. I can't imagine. I mean, Microsoft has the deep pockets to pay them off to keep that as an exclusive, but even just as far as marketing and exposure goes, I can't imagine a company accepting that sort of exclusive.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I will give 3 a try though. I definitely will.
Cool.
Not Tomb Raider 3, the reboot.
Oh, the reboot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Crystal Dynamics one. Nothing else. Don't bother. Oh,
Crystal
actually,
Dynamics.
You know, there's one other Tomb Raider game that's worth playing, and that's the sort of like a scant side scroller co-op game. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the top-down ones.
Yeah, that one is fantastic.
Guardian of Light or something?
Guardian of Light.
There's like another one they made also, actually.
Yeah, I only played the first one and only a bit of it, but it was a ton of fun. Because you have to work together to solve puzzles and get through the tomb. And you have to be creative. It doesn't hold your hand at all.
Nice.
So, fun.
All right.
All right, moving on. Let's do the Electronic Arts EA conference. Let's try a different format here rather than me going down the list. What stood out to you guys? What were you excited about EA, or what was really disappointing?
Okay, that's a good way to do this. and then so we talk about what stood out, and then we can gloss over and just say this stuff was also here. If you're interested, go look it up.
Cool.
You want to go first, Mike, or you want me to go?
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Yes.
Wow, my lord. I'm so ready for that game, man. I was ready for it before. Yeah, it looked just amazing and gorgeous, and I seriously I got like goosebumps watching it. Just like when they run outside on Hoth, and like an X-wing's being chased by 2 TIE fighters, and.
Did you watch the trailer, Scott, for any of that footage they showed off?
None of it, no.
You are missing out. You are missing out.
The beginning of the trailer, so the whole trailer itself takes place on during the Battle of Hoth and whatnot, but it starts off running through this little snowy corridor, and at the end of the snowy, it's like a very tight corridor. It opens up into like a vehicle hangar, and you can see people loading into and working on X-wings and snow. I don't know if they're X-wings, literally, the snow speeders there and stuff like that. And I just couldn't believe how they brought that space to life. And it's oh my God, you mean I get to walk around here and like interact with all this and like get in vehicles and I just like my mind was blown. It was like, holy crap, they did it. And like Mike's saying, then as soon as you get out of the hangar and you see like the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, whatever you want to call them, like walking in the distance and like troops running up and stuff, it's just like, oh my god, yeah, it's just like it was kind of emotional seeing it.
Yeah, there's one image just like glued into my memory, where it showed play from both sides, so the rebels and the Imperials, and there's this shot of this guy's playing as an Imperial snowtrooper, and he's running next to an AT-AT, and he just looks up and the camera just pans and you just see it take like this massive step and then all this snow goes everywhere from the mass of it, and it just looks like, oh man, just the scope and size, and then they show footage of like a TIE fighter chasing an X-Wing through like this little canyon run. Oh man, it just looks fantastic. And then what was the Tatooine footage they showed? Wasn't that like almost like a co-op like horde type mode?
Yeah, you know what? I don't really have strong memories of that one. I wasn't. Yeah, there was some cool stuff that they showed off in there.
Yeah,
it wasn't as like grand as Hoth.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a co-op. I don't know how many players exactly it will be, but there's definitely like a co-op like horde type mode where you defeat waves and they get progressively harder. But and then you can play as Luke, the lightsaber duels. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
That is definitely a midnight release, and I will play it until I unlock every achievement. Hours and hours.
I'm pretty sure it's a day one purchase for me too.
Have you both been fans of the previous Battlefront games?
Yes.
I've never played them.
Oh man, yeah.
I've played I played the Battlefield games, which is why I kind of I had the experience from playing. Man, I love Bad Company 2. It's probably my favorite online shooter ever, still to date. But playing the Battlefield games, that first time that I ever got that experience, and I was like, oh my god, like all these people next to me are real. But not only that, like some guy's really driving that tank, and someone's really flying in that helicopter and that airplane, and whoa, I can get in this helicopter, and he can fly me around, and like. All of those experiences, like translating into stuff with like Star Wars, and
into the Star
Wars, yeah, and then thinking about that trailer and everything they showed, I'm just like, this is gonna be incredible. Like I don't know, whatever server trouble be damned on day one, which I'm sure it'll crash and nobody will be able to log on. It'll be a big fiasco like it always is. Like all that stuff aside, I think we're in store for an incredible experience.
Yeah. And one huge thing is like when you shoot like the stormtroopers, the sparks come off them.
Yeah.
Just like in the movies, like oh man, looks so.
That's
awesome.
a cool touch.
Yeah, it looks like oh man. Yeah, definitely like right after this, check that out.
Yeah, they scanned in all of the movie.
All the props.
The movie props from like wherever the archive is that stuff is stored, and they scanned in all the movie props.
It in. Yep.
Yeah, and then they just animated it.
It is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. But I mean, continuing down the EA path, unless you guys want to talk about that more, I'd say the only other thing that I was really looking forward to going in there was the Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
I think I heard ahead of time that they were gonna reveal some more stuff for that, and I was really excited about what I saw from it.
Yeah, I love the original Mirror's Edge. I haven't seen the trailer for this one yet. How does it look?
It looks like the Mirror's Edge you remember. The big difference being that now that entire world, instead of being sectioned off into like levels and gameplay sections, is entirely open and free to be explored at your will. So like all of the running and stuff, the free running is now like you can now freely roam that world, and all of its beautiful art direction is the same, and you just kind of like pick up quests and go to like story beats and stuff like that whenever you want, and just kind of work your way through the world that way, which I think is kind of a brilliant direction to take with it, personally.
Yes. Watching it made me want to play the first one and give that game a try. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, the first one's a lot of fun. The last level made me rage quit, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, that game can be hard. That game's hard.
Really hard, but it was the last level where you just get assaulted by, 24 SWAT agents the second you walk in the door, You know, like the whole point of the game is that you're running around without a gun, and suddenly the last level becomes run and gun. It's just, it's pretty dumb.
You'll be happy to know that they said that in the sequel that you literally will not be able to fire a weapon. Like, there are no guns. The enemies will have them still like before, but you will have no shooting to do in this game.
Cool. Good.
So, yeah, that's another one, Mike. Like, if you ever... That game, usually, wherever you can find it's only like $10 or something like that. If you got a rainy Sunday where you're not doing anything, I say definitely check it out. I think that... visually and gameplay-wise, it still holds up. The only thing about the game that I never liked, but it's just part of what it is there's a lot of trial and error because there's so much momentum involved and wall jumps and making really big leaps and landing them and stuff like that. There's a lot of falling to your death, respawning, falling to your death, respawning, over and over again sometimes. But from what I remember, the load times are never very long. I'm pretty sure you just respawn instantaneously and stuff like that. So trial and error aside, it's a pretty amazing game.
All right, yeah, I'll give it a go.
And people better frickin' buy it when it comes out because people blabbed on about that game forever and ever. I was one of the people that bought the original one on day one and really, obviously supported it that way and tried talking about it all the time. And here we are years later. I feel like that's one of those games that nobody was ever sure if we were ever going to get a true sequel to, because there was an iOS adaptation that's actually really good. But here it is, and so if it doesn't sell again, which I don't think the first one sold very well, then EA is just going to be like screw you guys. All you do is talk and talk and talk, and nobody wants to talk with their wallets. So here's the we got to support this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a concern. I think the first one sold well enough because it did make it into the PS3 Greatest Hits collection.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that's the copy of the game that I bought. But it definitely it had that sort of that reputation of the give and take where it maybe just barely made it into that category, and it didn't get a whole lot of talk except from some of its super fans. And so yeah, the next one definitely runs that risk of being the game that the vocal fans asked for, but that the majority doesn't care about.
Yeah.
Which would be unfortunate.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to go over this list of other stuff that was talked about, so people know, that's cool. I know that.
Yeah, sure.
One more that kind of stood out for me, that it caught me off guard. I really kind of want to play Unravel.
I thought it looked
awesome.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Unravel?
You're I don't even know how to describe it. You're a little creature made out of yarn, and you have to just traverse these side-scrolling. I've heard it described as kind of Little Big Planet-ish, which I've never played, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, I mean, you kind of use your yarn to swing over branches, almost like Spider-Man web slinging and stuff. And
yeah, his name's Yarny.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a little studio. Matt, do you remember they're from Sweden or Norway or somewhere?
Maybe Poland.
Poland, yeah. But yeah, it looks like the art styles. This looks beautiful, and I hope he doesn't die. I hope he doesn't die. I have feelings for him already.
It's like a gorgeous 2D side-scrolling platformer game. But where the artwork in the backgrounds and the Yarny is all 3D character modeling and background modeling and things like that. And yeah, it looked good. It looked really charming. They went on stage and gave a video presentation of it and whatnot. And I think that was one of the new IPs that EA was saying we'll have new IPs also. I think that was one of them. They're publishing it.
All right.
Other than that, though, if you just want to go through the list, there's nothing else I really want to talk about.
All right, so they announced Mass Effect Andromeda for the holiday of 2016. Can someone give us just a quick summary of that?
It's Mass Effect 4.
It is Mass Effect 4. It's funny that didn't stand out to anybody, because that seems like everyone should have been, letting loose in their pants for it.
It was just a CG trailer, though.
Okay. All right. And then there's a new Need for Speed coming out in November. There's a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on October 27th. We just mentioned Unravel, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, and a Minions mobile game, which doesn't even come close to striking my interest. I don't like mobile gaming, and I don't care at all about the minions. And I assume those are the minions from Despicable Me, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything about that?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. What about
It's got. I don't know. I want to give it a shot. They only showed like a CG trailer of it, right? And
it was really good though.
They did. Yeah, it was really cool. But they didn't say what platforms or any. I mean, I would assume.
That's PC only.
Is it PC? Okay, well, never mind then.
Yeah, because that's just it's actually Star Wars: The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire. That Knights of the Fallen Empire is an Old Republic expansion pack that they're releasing.
That's lame. Why would you? Oh
well. It's free to subscribers.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So that doesn't stand out to me anymore.
All right, so let's move on to Ubisoft then. I'm gonna try a different format for this one. I'm gonna read all of the titles, and you guys are afterwards you're gonna tell me what you think.
Okay.
All right, so Ubisoft announced South Park: The Fractured But Whole, another role-playing game. For Honor, a new IP of theirs. The Division, which will come out March 8th of next year. They have beta signups for it coming out. Something called Anno 2205. It's a sci-fi building game. Just Dance 2016, which I'm pretty certain was on everyone's radar.
Heck yeah.
Rainbow Six. Is that Rainbow? Oh yeah. Rainbow Six Siege. Gotcha. Yeah. The beta will come out in September. Trackmania, arcade racing, and then Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and Ghost Recon Wildlands. So which one of those struck your interests?
Well, I'm like Mike. I think that Rainbow Six Siege looks cool. You know, but I'm also like you, Scott, where I'm kind of just burnt out on shooting games, and I have been for a really long time now. So it's like I both do and don't care about it. Like the destruction technology in it, like blowing holes through walls and stuff like that. It looks really good. For Honor look cool. Like I wrote here that it's a new IP. It's like crazy large scale melee combat multiplayer game, and the gameplay demo for it looks pretty darn good.
Yes.
I thought that for South Park: The Fractured But Whole, I refuse to say that anymore. I was just calling it Fractured Butthole. All right, let's just do it that way. It was interesting. Like Trey and Matt went on stage, South Park's creators, and they basically admitted that, like, yeah, we said we were never going to make another video game after the Stick of Truth, but we also kind of felt like at the end of the Stick of Truth's development that we finally figured out how to make a game. So
interesting.
So we kind of owed it to ourselves to make another one, and I guess it's a direct sequel. Continues right off the Stick of Truth, but instead of playing a fantasy role-playing game, they're actually playing like superhero game instead. Like the
cool.
kids in the game, yeah. So it's all of I don't watch the show that much, but like Cartman has that what's that superhero that he turns into? It's like the raccoon or something. Yeah, it's got like all those characters in it and some other ones. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's exciting for people who like South Park. I thought it was cool that they decided to give it another go because people really like the Stick of Truth for the most part. So.
Yeah, that one was well received. People said it was like playing an episode, which is a pretty good review.
Yeah, and I guess at Trackmania, I was listening to some podcasts after I wrote all this down. This is something that has existed for a really long time on PC with like servers and free versions and things like that. So I thought Trackmania, I was like, oh wow, this game looks crazy and cool. It's like, no, people have been playing Trackmania for a really long time, and this is just like a more visually impressive version of that. It looked fun though.
Okay.
Oh, and then I guess while I'm on my roll, I really don't care about Assassin's Creed anymore, so I don't know if Mike has something to say about that. The Ghost Recon Wildlands, for their, like, one more thing, I was so bummed out about that because I had my fingers crossed that one more thing, like I said, I was hoping it was going to be Beyond Good and Evil 2, a re-reveal. I thought it was going to be like a Last Guardian thing where it's like, look, we've been working on this game in secret for, like, 5 years, and look how crazy and amazing it was. And so when we got, like, more Ghost Recon crap, I was just like, fuck, I'm pardon my language. I'll have to bleep that out, darn it. I think you can get away with one F-bomb. I used it, guys. Nobody else.
We get one an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how let down I was.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the game looks bad. I'm just saying it was the last thing I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Oh, they did that thing though, where they did a cool little CG trailer thing that bled into gameplay, and it was like, look, all these vehicles and people running around and stuff like that. And then at the end of it, it was like, boom, it's a Ghost Recon game. And I think that was the moment where people were supposed to be like, oh, wow, it's a Ghost Recon game. But that's me. That's Ubisoft to me. Oh, and I like watching Aisha Tyler host every year. I think she's pretty.
Oh yeah,
She was awesome.
Yeah. Mike, thoughts? Sorry.
Yeah, for me, the Rainbow Six Siege is going to be awesome, just because of how tactical and I think you're really going to have to like use teamwork. I don't think it's going to be like a general, just first-person shooter. I think you're going to have to, be like, okay, well, I'm entering here. You need to go here, take out these dudes, and super excited for that. I always love doing like the terrorist hunts and stuff in those games. So yeah, that's the one that I was looking forward to. But oh man, For Honor looks freaking awesome. I'm excited for that one. I can see like I love like medieval knights and samurai and stuff. So.
Oh, so is this like sword and shield?
Yeah, it almost. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. It almost gave me like, well, you never play like the like almost like a Dynasty Warriors, like where there's a bunch of NPCs in your army. Was that right?
Yeah, but it's like as if Dynasty
and you have like morale,
was multiplayer.
You have like numbers of troops. Yeah, it's like I don't want to make the game seem like crap by comparing it to Dynasty Warriors.
No, because it looks slower and more methodical than that. Like it looks way better than those games. Yeah, those games look cartoony compared to this.
In the sword fighting, like if you hold the right stick to the right, your guy will like pivot, the sword to the right side of him, so you'll be swinging from right to left. And then if you do it, from the left, so if there's a guy like defending his left side and his right side, I think it's gonna be. Just the controls looked awesome. That one really struck for me. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
The Division, I'm definitely excited for that. Looks cool. Looks awesome.
I can't get into it. When they first showed it a couple years ago or whatever it was now, I like the idea of the setting and the gameplay and stuff like that. And then, not to knock Destiny, but I feel like then I played Destiny, and now that's all I see in this game. And so I'm like, nope, not going to be fooled. Not going to be fooled.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it looked really cool, and I think it's post-apocalypse, right? Yeah, it looks gorgeous. Yeah, really, those three titles really, for me. I never played the Stick of Truth. I would probably love it because you can fart in that game, but I need to. But yeah, those that stuck out for me.
That's like one of my favorite options or buttons, commands in Okami was the bark button. It's like, just for whatever reason, it hit me just right, and I would run up to a rock and hit bark for like a minute straight. You're like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah, I remember doing that in Fable. I would rush and fart wherever I was.
Yeah, scare people away.
I'm a classy guy though. So.
Oh yeah, no, we all are. Okay, I'm a little curious about Anno 2020, 2205. Is this like a SimCity sci-fi building?
Yeah.
Sci-fi city game?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know how... So the last SimCity, I think, was decidedly not very good, and then some company came out not too long ago. I don't know if it was crowdfunded or what it was, but they made a game just called, like, Cities, and I guess it's really awesome, and it's everything everybody wanted out of a SimCity game. I could be wrong on that being the name of it, but it sort of looks like, like a sci-fi SimCity game, but it looks like... And I'd have to watch the trailer again. To me, it almost looked like you start off and you're building stuff on futuristic Earth, and then you eventually launch shuttles. And then I don't know if you colonize planets, like after you launch shuttles and stuff like that. They almost gave that impression that you can then go start building on the moon or other moons or other planets or things like that too, and just expand and expand. But don't quote me on that stuff.
All right, cool. Any other thoughts before we move to Sony?
Did you have any thoughts on Ubisoft?
Not really.
none of this stuff was something that I was looking forward to, except for, of course, for Just Dance.
Funny thing about that, I think out of all of these conferences, like all of the third-party conferences, that Just Dance 2016 is the only game out of all of them coming to Wii U also.
Oh, gosh.
Everything else is PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm like you, Matt. I'm not at all wooed by the Division. I didn't know anything about For Honor. I'm a little interested, although I know Mike said that comparing it to Dynasty Warriors was inaccurate. But just even the hint of it sort of.
No,
give it a watch.
But there are a couple of games in PC that it's like Crusaders or something, and it's all first-person melee. It's nothing like that, is it?
No, this is third person, and there's like 3 control points, and like I think like this one, there's like an attacking team and a defending team where they were defending a castle, and the attacking team took control of this control point, and then like they like moved a battering ram up, and like we're trying to open a door, and it looks awesome.
Mike? Do you know? Because in that trailer they show like different warriors from different time periods, like
there's 3
Vikings, samurais,
and knights.
Yes. And do they all battle each other, or do you?
I believe so. I believe in the gameplay footage they showed one guy was Japanese samurai, the other was knights. So yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can just. I don't know how it's gonna work. Excuse me. I think what I did notice was there was like sigils, like crests. So I think it'd be pretty cool if you could, design your own one and go into battle. I don't know. It looks amazing.
It's much more like, I don't want to call it a sim because obviously it's not, but it's where, darn it, I'm trying to watch the Dynasty Warriors.
Don't watch Dynasty Warriors.
No, it's not, because it's not. Just you gotta watch this guy. It's not like Dynasty Warriors.
Just check it out. I'm interested. You said samurai, so you got my attention.
Okay.
Just in the fact that there's like I don't know, was it number of troops or was it like your troops morale or something? Just the numbers thing. That's all I'm. Like the number of allies you have and stuff. So definitely check it out. It looks awesome.
Okay.
You can like decapitate the guys and stuff. Yeah,
it's probably the one on the list that I'm most interested in. I want to support South Park because I love the show and I heard great things about the RPG, but I could never bring myself to play it because I just didn't care, which is weird because there's nothing about it that's unappealing to me. I just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't add up for me, and I grew tired of Rainbow Six a long time ago. Even though I appreciate tactical first-person shooters as opposed to spray and pray. I remember having a lot of fun with the Rainbow Six on N64. My buddy and I spent hours trying to get through one level and try to then do it again with fewer casualties and things like that. Like, we had a lot of fun with that. I'm not interested in racing, although I used to be. I could be swayed back into it, but and Assassin's Creed, I can't even get into it anymore. After playing 4 hours of 2 and being thoroughly disenchanted, I don't have any interest in going back to that series, even though I love everything about the idea. Like, playing an assassin is so much fun, and I love running around cities and jumping up and down stuff and climbing and whatnot, but I'm just tired of the format.
I loved, I think 2 was my favorite one. I
really?
completed, I did everything there was to do in 2, and then Brotherhood and Revelations, which were all, spin-offs from 2. But after the third one, I sunk half the time into it. I couldn't get into it, and I have 4 sitting downstairs just collecting dust. It's just same game. So yeah, cool. I'm not looking forward to the new one either.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't have any affection for the Ghost Recon series, so it doesn't even register. But the first entry in Sony's conference is my most anticipated game.
Nice.
Which is The Last Guardian. I have been dying to play this game. I am a huge fan of Ico, and particularly Shadow of the Colossus, so I am ecstatic to see that Last Guardian still coming. I'll be honest, I was a little bored by the trailer, but I think that just might have been a weird trailer. Just because there was a lot of downtime. There was a lot of not anything happening. So I'm blaming that on the trailer. Then we have a Final Fantasy VII Remake. The graphics, of course, look great. I don't know what the extent of the gameplay changes will be, but we can get into that in just a moment. Matt, I know you are ecstatic about the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter, which launched on stage during the conference.
I got a good little story about that one, and when the time comes, I'll keep it short.
All right, we'll get to it fast. Black Ops 3, Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a new IP from Guerrilla Games, something called Dreams from the Little Big Planet developer, Morpheus, Sony's answer to Oculus Rift, and then they've got their own version of some sort of internet TV. This I don't know anything about. Uncharted 4, which I am also very excited about because I'm a huge fan of the series. No Man's Sky, which I am also very excited about. And Destiny, which I probably couldn't care less about. So, why don't you guys, who know more than I, let me know what you thought of Sony's conference.
I don't even know where to start.
We'll start with Shenmue.
Okay. Well, actually, can I go to? Let me tackle the top three here.
Do what you want, baby.
Yeah, do what I want. Yeah. So Last Guardian, I think there were rumors leading up to it that it was finally going to get shown. Was it? I emailed you, Scott, and didn't I say like Sony's got nothing that we know about coming out? This would be the perfect year to show The Last Guardian, and it happened. I guess even like deeper within like the gaming press and stuff like that, like more rumors were getting heated and leaking and things like that. But I thought it was awesome that they opened with that. I thought it still looked beautiful and gorgeous. And Mike, you can talk about this when the time comes. But you were telling me that you were just like, whoa, what is this game? And you were saying like of everything Sony showed, that might have been that one game that. It could
System
be that game
seller.
that... Yeah,
System
exactly. That sounds like PS4, which I thought was really powerful also. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I couldn't believe that I was seeing it. I was sitting there on the edge of my seat, and I was like gripping the seat, and I was just like, oh my god. Like before the logo came up and stuff like that, and Gina was just sitting next to me, and she's like, what? She was like, what? I was like, I think I know what this is going to be, but I don't want to say it in case I'm wrong. And like when it's Final Fantasy VII Remake on there, I was like, oh wow. It's another one of those things like you mentioned, Scott. It's just a trailer. I hope that nobody thinks that was representative of gameplay. I hope that's representative of what the in-game, like the CG cinematic, cutscenes look like.
It should be.
Yeah, that'd be incredible if they could have that level of I don't know, just whatever you want to say that was. Like in every single cutscene and stuff like that would be mind-blowing. So between The Last Guardian and the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3 caught me completely by surprise. And I still remember, what's-his-head coming to stage and, saying something like, Adam Boyes, I think his name is, saying something like, this is very much their project, but we kind of just wanted to, unveil it here and whatnot. And when that music started playing, just that classic Shenmue song, I was still sitting on the edge of my seat at this point, and my eyes just started swelling up with tears, and I was like, oh my god, and Gina was sitting right next to me, and I started crying like a baby. I wasn't just batting away tears, kind of like when you're at a theater or something and you don't want everyone to see that you're crying, you can kind of blink them away and make it so nothing runs down your face. I was just kind of I started just flat out crying, and I was like, oh my god, I know this is so stupid, and I feel dumb that I'm crying about this, but you have no idea how long we've waited for this moment, and I was confused about it when it was initially first happening, and I kind of, because the whole thing just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, I think at first I kind of thought Sony was saying, hey, we're making this with Yu Suzuki, and so I was emotional about the fact that it was in my mind getting made and stuff like that. But even days after that announcement, when Gina and I were talking about that moment and I was following the Kickstarter, campaign and stuff like that, I could hardly talk about it without getting that swelling in my eyes. That's how much it meant to me. Yeah, so it was weird, right? So I was all watching Sony's conference and gung-ho about it and stuff like that. But as soon as they announced the Shenmue Kickstarter and it sunk in and I realized, oh, this is something I need to help out with. I need to put my money where my mouth has been all these years. I kind of abandoned the conference and went online and tried to log on to Kickstarter just to see that it was crashed. Kickstarter was down because of this. So once I realized I couldn't even log in and give them any money or anything like that, I went back to watching the press conference and wiping my eyes and stuff like that. It was a powerful moment. I will say that like, despite like The Last Guardian, the Final Fantasy VII remake, and like Shenmue 3, which are really the key things that I cared about. Like I thought Uncharted looked good and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and Horizon Zero Dawn I thought looked really awesome. I still felt like I read some really good headlines online after the E3 buzz was dying down in regards to Sony, and some people criticized them for hiding behind a wall of hype, a lot of pie in the sky, concepts in games and stuff that we're not getting for, maybe 2 years. Maybe the Final Fantasy VII remake will take 4 years to get to and stuff like that. And so, like, at first when E3 was all over, I was kind of like, oh my god, Sony press conference. Obviously it was like, the best thing, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII remake, Shenmue 3. And then I realized, like I said, like, I'm not playing Last Guardian until next year. Who knows when I'm playing Final Fantasy VII? Shenmue 3 is going to take 2 years to make. And then I went online and I started looking through, like, the PS4's catalog of games, like on the PlayStation Network and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, I still don't want to play any of this crap. And I just felt really depressed. Yeah, so it's been like a whirlwind of just
emotions.
Emotions. So it was like, despite getting the biggest emotional high off of Sony's press conference, as somebody, who tries to look at things like objectively, like if you want to do like a Sony and Microsoft like Nintendo comparison, I thought Microsoft had a much stronger showing. It's just that like Sony dropped these megaton announcements, that are just like people who have been waiting. In the case of like Shenmue, I don't even know how long it's been, 10 years or so. It's just like, it was crazy. But I recognize it for what it was also, and it was a lot of, play this stuff someday in the future. Right now we ain't got anything, Uncharted, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm done. Thank you. Mike?
Well, yeah, let me first start by saying it's amazing. I love your reaction to Shenmue. It's amazing when a piece of entertainment can get that emotion out of someone. That's awesome. Prior to this E3, Matt was telling me, he's like, this is going to be the biggest one. This is going to be the biggest E3. And I told him, I was like, I feel like they say that every single year. Like, this is going to be the... But man, not being a huge PlayStation guy, the PlayStation one was just bombshell after bombshell. It was just like, holy crap. Like I told Matt, I was like, Last Guardian looks amazing. I played Ico. Never played Shadow of Colossus, though. Now I want to.
Needs to.
I listened to your guys' podcast about it also, and it sounds amazing. But I even got my girlfriend. I was like, I showed her the trailer of it, of like, what's his name, Trico something.
Oh, the character in The Last Guardian?
Last Guardian, yeah.
I don't know if he has an official name, if either one of them do.
I heard someone call him. Anyways, when he's like sitting, when he's sitting there like on the ledge, and like he like scratches his neck with his hind leg like a dog, and like the feathers fly out. Like,
oh yeah.
Holy Toledo, this looks awesome. And unlike, you guys said, someone said it seemed a little slow. I was just like so engaged with the gameplay footage. I was just like, how like the kid ran up and like he like was jumping up to show like his dog creature that he needs to jump across. Oh man,
yeah,
so cool. Like you have to work together, and it's, oh man, I love it. Yeah, that looks so cool.
Cool.
That may be a system seller for me. Let's see. I felt for every one of my friends who was a big Final Fantasy fan. I tried playing Final Fantasy VII way long ago. I hate to say it, I couldn't get into it. Maybe I just didn't give it enough chance or what, because that is like regarded as like isn't it like the greatest game like ever?
It's up there for sure.
Yeah. For RPGs, yeah.
I think I might have been really like picky, and because I didn't like turn-based games. I love like Pokemon. I would play for the sheer fact that I'm the trainer and I'm telling these Pokemon, hey, do this move. But I always felt like if I was a character, I wanted to control it, so I could never get into like turn-based JRPG style games until I started playing Bravely Default on 3DS. So now I think after really coming to terms with, okay, it can still be really fun even though I'm not controlling them. I would love to give that a playthrough. And if I heard on another podcast, there's going to be alterations to the game. Is that right? Like the story, to the story, I think also.
I think they need to modernize it a lot in terms of gameplay. Arguably, I mean, the materia system in that game, which is kind of like its magic system, is fantastic. And I recently played through like the first 2 discs of Final Fantasy VII just a couple months ago and made it to disc 3 and just kind of, I was playing it on Vita, so I kind of just got bored of it. Anyways, like so much of that game holds up, but so much of it needs to be rewritten and redone. And if they're gonna somehow achieve the vision that they showed in that trailer, it definitely needs to be modernized a lot.
Yeah. So maybe when I buy a PS4 for Last Guardian, I would, if I had the hardware, I would definitely give it a chance. Let me see, what else? Oh man, Dreams looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. It looks, but there's so much. See, I love games. Like I was saying, like back in April, I was getting big into Star Wars again, so I busted out my Star Wars Lego sets and I was rebuilding my Slave One and stuff. So I love being able to be creative in a game. I love Minecraft and stuff. So, but yeah, there's still so much I don't know about that, and I think that's what the developers said. They're like, this is just to scratch the surface. This is. But yeah, I have so many questions. I want to definitely. That looks amazing. And then No Man's Sky just looks unbelievable. There's like, what is it? Isn't there like infinite planets and? Oh man, it's a little. I want to say it's a little company, and they made like this huge scope. And
are you guys still there?
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I heard you. For a second there, it said that the call was dropped, and then everybody came back. So we're good though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, No Man's Sky looks definitely it's on my radar as well. It looks just the sheer scope, and you can create your own planets and populate them, from what I understand. Just, man, Sony hit it out of the park. And I'm going to say it now. I'm probably going to, I hate to admit this, but I'm probably going to play the Destiny expansion when it comes out. As much as it's, oh man, it is.
They've got you hooked.
Unfortunately, yeah, like today, there's an exotic weapon. It's like one of the last ones I don't have. So I was like, well, I'm gonna need to go to buy that weapon from Xur, and just to have it, I'm not even gonna use it, but yeah. The one thing with Destiny is they're adding the 3rd subclass slot for each character. So I don't know. Maybe that'll at least make the characters fun to play again for, who knows, 10 hours. But,
to be fair, I mean, Scott and I fell off the Destiny bandwagon. He fell off before me, and then I fell off sometime after him. Mm-hmm. You have easily gotten your money's worth for that game, right?
Oh man.
If you want to look at it that way, like I understand all the frustrations and stuff like that, but as what did you pay, $60 plus, or did you get a bigger version that was like all the expansion content?
I got the nerdy version with like the ghost and everything.
Was it? Do you mind me asking how much that was? Well, regardless of how much it was.
I think they're all like. I think it was $150.
Okay. Do you feel like you got a $150 worth of?
Last I checked, my friends checked. I forgot how many. Oh man, it was, I don't know, 400 hours, maybe 5.
Okay, yeah, with like good times with friends and stuff like that. So it's like
good times with friends doing the same 15 missions, not even 15 missions, maybe 10 missions over. Yeah, but I mean, but with that game, I think with that game with Destiny, I think is what it unlocks in people is. It's basically gambling. am I gonna get an awesome weapon at the end of this? Who knows? Am I gonna get this last piece of armor I need to rank up a little? They've mastered the mixture of like digital cocaine. It's just, and like I said, I'm trying to wean myself off it because the new DLC came out and I'm still I'm already like over that. So, but needless to say, I'm gonna bow my head as I say this. I will play the expansion when it comes out.
Okay, all right.
But
we understand it's a weakness.
It is. Addiction is not no light issue. But yeah, the real man, Last Guardian looks so cool.
I have a question for you guys, if you don't mind me taking this for a moment here and addressing it. Before my question, I guess I have a confession, and my confession is that I'm not sure that I think No Man's Sky looks very good.
Really?
I feel like maybe I need to read up on it more or dig a little bit deeper into everything that's been said about what it is that you can do in it. And I know that the latest trailer that they showed at the Sony thing, like he lands on a random planet and you can kind of claim the territory as like, I found this place first, and it shows him like, look, these environments are completely destructible, and he starts blowing apart rocks with like a laser beam and stuff like that. And like I get that like some games, like part of what I love doing in the Elder Scrolls game and in games and the one that we're playing right now is I just like walking around and looking at the way the sunlight like in the sunsets and like the beams like break through like the branches and like the lighting looks, and I love soaking all that in and all the sounds and stuff like that. And I feel like undoubtedly No Man's Sky will provide a lot of those like, wow, this game's like really beautiful kind of moments. But I feel like gameplay wise, I'm just kind of like, unless you are just looking to wander around these worlds and like collect all this crap and break apart rocks, like, do we know what there really is to do in it? I know you're trying to work your way to the center of the universe, but like every time he gets in whoever's writing the demo, like gets in a spaceship and you can see that the spaceship's quote unquote like battling outside of like a planet before he like lands on it and stuff like that. It's like they just look like they're sitting there and like a laser flies, and none of it looks really engaging to me is what I'm getting at.
I definitely want to know more about what you're supposed to do in the game. I'm mostly impressed by the scale with which the game is supposed to take place on. I'm a big fan of space and space exploration, and I'm kind of bored by a lot of the extra weight that comes with a game like that. Like, I don't want it to be I don't want it to be anything like EVE Online.
Okay.
And I am interested in just flying around and seeing planets and exploring them, but I know at a certain point it'll get boring without more to it, and at the same time, I don't quite know what I would want.
Interesting.
But I'm very interested to try it and explore it and to see it as a new piece of technology and as a new direction in game development.
I say interesting like that because if you told me that game, No Man's Sky, is everything that we've been shown so far, plus all of the elements of EVE Online, I'd say, all right, I'm sold. That's what I want to do, is have all this building and exploration and a universe to explore, but all of the economics in like the level of the like the depth of those economics from like EVE Online, and being able to do all of that with everything that I collect on these planets and stuff like that. I think that sounds like an incredible game. But EVE Online by itself, from the quote unquote gameplay that I've watched of it, just like, oh man, might as well. Like I could fall asleep to it.
I mean, yeah, but if it's your style of game, then it is everything and more. EVE Online, because it is a massive game. And,
the stories that I hear about it are incredible. Just the things that people do in that game blows my mind. That like a game can be all of the things that game is.
Yeah. My most recent revelation in terms of my interest in video games has come down to I'm not interested in chore games. I don't want to have to go pick up this and brush it clean and then bring over here. Like I don't want to be cleaning my room in a video game.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's one of the things that disenchanted me from the Elder Scrolls series eventually. I felt like it was just this game that played upon obsessive compulsiveness, where you had this list of quests, and you had no attachment to any of the quests. It didn't mean anything to you, but you just accumulated this to-do list, and you went around with a little arrow at the top of your screen telling you exactly where to go, and you checked them off the list as you went around. Like, there wasn't a gaming experience to be had there. There was a gorgeous world set, but I didn't get to interact with the story at all, or the world. I just picked stuff up and moved them around. And so No Man's Sky definitely has that potential to be a chore game, and I'm worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, them being a new developer and all.
Yeah.
Whereas I totally understand what I'm going to get in Uncharted 4, and I'm excited for more of the same. You know,
yeah, that game looks great.
Yeah, the trailer looked like a lot of fun. It looked like something very similar that we've experienced in the previous 3 games. Maybe a little bit more polished, maybe a little bit sillier, maybe a little bit more elaborate, but still fun.
Yeah.
Looked like a movie. Looked
Yeah,
awesome.
it did. And those are my favorite parts of Uncharted. I complained about the combat earlier, but you know, the sequence where you're running away from the tank in Uncharted 2, and you're running through the village and it's crashing through the buildings and
It's
trying
incredible.
to find it's amazing. Or the scene where you whenever the camera turns around and you have to run towards you know,
Yeah.
and something is chasing you. The convoy scene, I believe, is also at the end of Uncharted 2. The train sequence, you know, there's the Lost in the Desert, Lawrence of Arabia sequence in Uncharted 3. Like, there's all of those big action set pieces like you would get in a movie. They are like a movie, except you get to play it.
Yeah.
And that's so much fun.
Mike, any thoughts on No Man's Sky in regards to setting expectations for it?
No, man. I mean, it looks like it's got, you know, elements that I love. You know, huge, you know, almost limitless galaxies and sci-fi space. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm mostly still kind of like you guys, just intrigued to see, you know, what the you know, what there is to do, what the purpose, you know, for it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely super intrigued by it. Has elements to, you know, be great. So let's just hope.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I don't want to beat a dead horse on it, because I do hope that at some point I learn enough about it to where it grows on me, and then I'm sitting there, you know, getting in a spaceship for the first time, flying out into the vastness of that universe, and like hyperventilating on the couch because I'm like, oh my god, it's so big. But like I'm
That's
afraid.
what she said.
Yeah. All right, I'm afraid that it's like, oh look, I landed on pink planet with blue dinosaur, and now I landed on blue planet with pink dinosaur, and it's, you know, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Let's move on to Nintendo if no one has anything else.
Can I ask one question? What
Yeah.
can you guys tell me? Maybe I missed it. What can you tell me? What did they show about Morpheus?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
I think that was when I was trying to go online and
Shenmue?
buy
Okay.
Shenmue 3.
Okay.
Honestly, I've heard good things. I don't know anyone who's compared it directly to Oculus Rift, but I've heard good things that Morpheus works and that it's
Comfortable.
comfortable. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was just. All right.
All right. Well, let's hit.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
on Nintendo. Here's their list of the games that they fired off, and maybe more than any other conference, this one is loaded with sequels. We start with a new Star Fox, and then we get Skylanders with Bowser and Donkey Kong. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah,
and they get their little amiibo figures as well, which is, I don't know if it's fun or not, but man, does it come off as nothing but a marketing ploy. We get Zelda Triforce Heroes on the 3DS, Hyrule Warriors again for 3DS, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Fire Emblem Fates, a 3DS game, Fire Emblem what do you got here, Matt?
Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei.
So that really is cross then.
Yeah.
It's like oh wow, okay, cool. Xenoblade Chronicles 10, or is that X?
X.
Okay. Animal Crossing Happy Home 3DS, Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U, Yokai Watch, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, 3DS, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which sounds good to me, and then Super Mario Maker for the Wii U.
Yeah, Yokai Watch also, I didn't write it down there as a 3DS.
Okay, cool. Well, Matt, you mentioned here that the new Star Fox looks underwhelming. That's disappointing to me. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was an opinion I formulated on my own when I was watching the conference, and I could just feel all of the happiness being sucked out of my body the more I watched from it.
Oh.
And then so it felt really good to kind of poke around online afterwards and realize that I wasn't alone on that, because just it sucks when you're bummed out by something and then everybody else is like, oh my god, it looks so good, I can't wait for it, just because misery loves company. But
Sure.
yeah,
It's a little bit validating too.
yeah, it's just okay. So you got here's the problem with it. It's kind of like, from the Wii U, it's like it's the underdog and it's underpowered next to the Xbox One and the PS4, but it's like, damn, do some of the games on it, like Mario Kart and Super Mario World and Smash Brothers, look gorgeous. Like, none of that power matters when you have such like a solid art direction for the game, and that game looks like a GameCube game that they slowed down. It looks like there's not enough enemies on screen at any one moment. There's like the X-Wing or whatever it's called. What's it called in Star Fox? The R-Wing or R-Wing, I think, actually. The X-Wing is Star Wars. The R-Wing. It turns into this little chicken walker, which is fine, but it slows down things even more, and it's still got the tank, and it's like, if I had to summarize it, it's like the textures are bland. The art direction is completely lacking any sort of, boom, this is what we did with it. Miyamoto and whoever else is working on it have stated in like multiple interviews, the art direction serves a purpose, and at first I was like, oh, is it you keeping the textures down and stuff like that because you're shooting for 60 frames a second, which is maybe it is, but it's still it looks so uninspired and slow on top of it, and I wanted it to be great. I was so pumped for it. Like, I have so many fond memories of seeing SNES Star Fox for the first time. I love Star Fox 64. The only reason I haven't bought Star Fox 64 3D, which is like a souped-up version of that game with better texture work and some other tweaks, is because I just feel like I played 1,000 hours of Star Fox 64, and I'm just not ready to dive back into it again. But it looks like what they did was and again, it's called Star Fox Zero, actually, and they're saying it is yet again a reimagining / re-envisioning of Star Fox. And one of the things that I wrote on this, like one of the Facebook posts that I did for it, was like, Star Fox 64 is a reimagining of SNES Star Fox. And like, so you're doing it again, because none of the other Star Fox games that you guys have tried to make after Star Fox 64 have been really, really well critically received. And so it was weird seeing like Corneria, the first planet from the first. Yeah, I could blab on and on about it. It just does not look good to me.
That's too bad, because I'm like you. I played the hell out of Star Fox on the SNES, and our mutual friend Garrett and I destroyed Star Fox 64.
That was amazing, right?
And we played that game so often, we didn't get bored with it, but we just kept adding stuff to it. We would do things like we would play music in the background, and we would try and kill enemies to the rhythm of the song, because we were so good at that game. And we tried to like line up songs with moments in the game. Like, it was ridiculous. We went berserk over that game. And that was the game that came with the Rumble Pack. It introduced a whole new element to gaming at the same time. It was gorgeous. It was fluid, and you never got bored of it. And nobody liked the Star Fox on GameCube, because it wasn't really a Star Fox. It was actually some other game that they reskinned to be a Star Fox game or something like that. Like, the whole story of the Star Fox series is actually pretty interesting, because it's just been jerked around left and right, and I feel like it hasn't been done justice since the 64. And so I would love to see a good Star Fox. I'm disappointed to hear that it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Oh man, while we're on a roll, you mind if I just go down this list real quick?
Go for it.
Alright, don't care about the Skylander stuff. Zelda Triforce Heroes, like, it looked okay. I really wish they would have said, like, here's a new top-down Zelda single-player adventure with the same graphics from the other top-down Zelda we made on 3DS, because that game was awesome. So kind of the last thing I wanted out of it was like a multiplayer mode. Or if they would have said like, here's 50% new single player Zelda, 50% multiplayer, I would have been like, okay, I still probably buy it. So not looking forward to that. I think it's cool that they crammed Hyrule Warriors onto a 3DS. That could be interesting. I really don't like Dynasty Warrior style games, so that thing's not really on my radar. I feel for the people who are really pissed off about Metroid Prime Federation Force and how weird it looks, and I also don't understand why Nintendo feel that they needed to slap the Metroid Prime name on a game that probably doesn't look like it had much to do with Metroid before they decided to take that direction with it. Super excited for Fire Emblem Fates, because Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS is incredible. I was so excited about the concept behind Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei until they unveiled more of it this year and realized that it's this really weird, it's like a JRPG, it takes place in Tokyo, but it has like this weird, colorful J-pop art style and combat system revolved around like Japanese idols and dancing and pop music and crap like that. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, Fire Emblem's awesome and tactical and hardcore, and Shin Megami Tensei, for anybody who doesn't know, is this like incredibly deep first-person-ish JRPG experience dealing with like hell and like demons and like Japanese mythology and all this cool dark stuff also. And so like the last thing I feel like I ever expected was to get this weird bubblegum pop JRPG out of this. And so that went from being like one of the games I was most excited for on like Wii U to being like, I don't even care about this anymore. I still really, really, really want Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think the game looks incredible. I just am really, really afraid that it's going to try to butt heads with... I don't know. They haven't... Maybe it's coming out in like December. I forget when it's coming out, but I feel like it's really, really close to all the other holiday releases like Fallout and whatever else is coming out right around the holidays. And so I'm just afraid that I'm going to have to make decisions, you know, time-wise, if not financially, and I'm not sure where it stacks up compared to the other games. Animal Crossing I don't care about. Yoshi's Woolly World looks cute, but I don't really care about it. Yokai Watch I'm super, super pumped for it. It's supposed to be like this new Pokemon experience that Level 5, like the legendary JRPG developer over in Japan, made, and it's massive over there, and it's got like 3 games, an anime series, and the anime series is actually coming out here, and like Disney is helping with the translation and the localization of the anime series. Not that I need another Pokemon in my life, but I hope it I hope it does that for me. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam I think looks really, really cool. It kind of combines the Paper Mario with some of the newer Mario and Luigi RPG games. Mario Tennis, obviously great fun. I just like really don't care about it anymore. And Super Mario Maker Wii U, I think it looks incredible. That's cool. All that. That's that for me.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, you belted that one out. Yeah, basically, the what is it, Yokai Watch?
Yeah.
Your excitedness about that makes me want to give it a try.
It's toxic, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
It's like
you're the Pokemon guy, so
yeah.
If there's a Pokemon style game that you're excited for, shoot, man, sign me up. I'll give it a try. I watched the trailer for it. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand much of it, like the spirits, and I was a little lost, but I'll give it a try.
Like, so here's what it is. I can do this real fast, right? So like in the Yokai Watch world, this kid, he's like he goes into the forest and he finds the Yokai Watch and he puts it on, and it lets him see and communicate with like Japanese spirits. And so I guess in like Japanese folklore, if like somebody's sad or feeling like a certain emotion, or I don't even know, it might translate into like the fridge is broken, so like the spirit of the fridge is like angry or something like that, or my car stopped working, and so like the spirits might be angry. And so like the spirits that are affecting everything from like people's moods to, don't quote me on the physical object thing, but I think it might also be, it's like you can use the watch to be like, oh, spirit making the truck not work, like I see you down there doing your mischief, and then it's like you battle it and you befriend them and you talk to them and you collect them just like Pokemon, except like, I don't know if you can tell from the trailer, but the graphics actually look like it's almost like
good.
Leagues above what they were able to do with Pokemon. Like it looks like an anime world kind of brought to life on a handheld, and so I'm really excited about the visual presentation of it also.
Wow. Yeah, the way you described it, you could describe that game to me, and I would say that sounds Japanese.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like you said, Star Fox was a letdown. So
Did you think so also, or did you watch
yeah,
that?
yeah. I think I went into it expecting a little too much. Sounds like they need to get some new writers or something.
Yeah.
But
Oh
this,
yeah. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no. I was just gonna say it's cool that that you and Garrett were playing. It sounds like you guys were playing Rez before it was a game.
Oh, that when Scott and Garrett were
was
playing Star
yeah.
Yeah, like that's what Rez became, was music to third-person like shooter.
Yeah, that's
funny.
pretty cool. But yeah, that's Nintendo in a nutshell for me.
Anything
All
else,
right.
Ben?
I mean, I also played the heck out of Mario Tennis on the 64.
Yeah, that was a good game.
I would still play
That was
it.
fun.
The problem with the one on the GameCube is that it introduced all that extra garbage, like power-ups and stuff. It wasn't just a tennis game anymore, and you could turn it all off. But what was the point? Like, you had a perfect game on the 64. I just went back and played that. Similar experience with like the Mario Soccer game, Mario Strikers, from the GameCube to the Wii. You went from like a perfect, super tight sports game that was tons of fun that my friends and I got really angry at each other over, to the Wii U, or to the Wii version, where it introduced all these power-ups and sloppier controls and stopped being fun. So I don't know what this new one looks like, but I'm always curious because I would love to see a good one back. And I don't know too much about any of these other games. I'm sad that Star Fox doesn't look good. Of course, Super Mario Maker is kind of like everybody's first and last dream for video games. I've seen some of the levels made on the internet, and they just look like they're impossible.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Gina and I had an experience, I think, along with a lot of other people, when Nintendo recently did the Nintendo World Championships, when they streamed that, where the last game that they had the two people go up against each other was Super Mario Maker, and the Nintendo Treehouse, who's responsible for like Nintendo's localization and some development tasks and stuff like that on their North American titles. They put together the levels for the Nintendo World Championships, so kind of like in that movie The Wizard, where like that kid's on stage and he's playing like Super Mario 3 for the first time, and like doing awesome and figuring out secrets and stuff like that. It's like these two players who were going head to head in the Nintendo World Championships were that good at this game, where like these levels that the Treehouse put together were just like in like the most insane Mario levels you could have ever conceived, and I'm sure people will get even better at it and stuff like that. But like watching these two people figure out these levels for the first time, like not knowing anything about all the craziness that was about to happen, and it was an edge of the seat experience, and we were like rooting and yelling. We're just like, oh my god, not because we thought it would be funny to root and yell, but it was just like the excitement from the crowd and the people commenting and us seeing this stuff for the first time. It was like a sport. It was crazy. It was a really good time. Point being that if you can find the World Championships online on YouTube or something like that and want to see what it's potentially going to be like to play some of these levels for the first time, just fast forward straight to the end of that whole thing where they finally play Mario Maker, and I guarantee you it's good to watch that footage. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Any final thoughts on Nintendo?
No, they were admittedly my least favorite press conference out of all three of them. And to say that I liked EA, let's go back over EA real quick. Let me just glance up here real quick. EA at least had Mirror's Edge Catalyst, or I don't know. Nintendo and EA were kind of neck and neck for me. The thing with EA was I had no expectations for what I was going to see there really, except for Mirror's Edge. Oh yeah, and they had Star Wars. Yeah, EA totally. But Nintendo last year, they stole the show for me. So to go from being my favorite press conference last year to feeling sort of devastated by them this year as a 3DS and a Wii U owner. I know that sounds dramatic, but yeah, it was my least favorite conference out of all of them.
All right. Mike, anything like that?
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, like Matt said, last year seemed like they were just belting it out, and yeah, this year was just very lackluster to say the least. Just, um, I don't know. I think they could have, upped the ante on a lot of stuff, but yeah, it was just kind of bland, and yeah, left me wanting more.
All right. All right, well then let's move on to the Square Enix conference, where Square Enix showed us Just Cause 3, which I am personally ecstatic over.
I knew you would.
Yeah, we can get into it later. A new Nier game, which I know you are excited about, Matt.
I just did not only did I do a Facebook post on it today, but I wrote a whole new blog post on 30 and Nerdy. It's like I took my ideas in my Facebook post and just really expanded upon them and put a new blog post on 30andnerdy.com.
Nice. We've got Rise of the Tomb Raider, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII coming to iOS, as well as more from Kingdom Hearts, something called Unchained Key for iOS, as well as Kingdom Hearts 3, something called World of Final Fantasy, another Hitman, Star Ocean 5, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Final Fantasy Portal app, Project Setsuna, and Lara Croft Go, which I hope is not a weird version of Tomb Raider that involves white and yellow stones. Any thoughts on Square Enix?
Yes.
All right.
Mike, do you want to go? Do you want to go first before I? From my mouth.
Well, yeah, I'll just touch on what I'm excited for. Kingdom Hearts 3. I never played 2.
Me neither.
I forgot why. Was that a PS3 exclusive? I can't remember.
No, it was PS2.
Was it PS2? I don't know. I loved Kingdom Hearts 1. I think that was probably one of my first kind of I don't know. It was one of like the first like RPG kind of like I said before, I was kind of weary of it just because I knew of like the Final Fantasy universe, and it was hard for me to get engaged in that turn-based combat. But once I saw it was all the combat was real time, I opened myself up to it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be definitely on my radar. Was that for? Do you know if that was PlayStation exclusive? Was that
They didn't say.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Xbox One and PS4 and hopefully PC.
Okay. So yeah, that. See, a lot of their stuff, I really just never played like I said, the Final Fantasy VII. I would give a chance to now that I'm a bit more mature maybe, and I'm able to, give the turn-based stuff a turn. That Nier game was very intriguing. I don't know. That's about it. I'm looking over here, yeah. Hitman, don't really care about. I never played a Star Ocean game. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Just Cause 3, I think it looks cool. I'm not really into the series, but I'm excited for people like you, Scott, who absolutely like adore that game for everything it is, and like I think it's awesome that they're keeping it going. Yeah, Nier. As I wrote today in the blog post, people can go read it, so I won't like blab on about it too much. But the first Nier game it's on PS3 and 360, is one of my favorite games of all time. Probably makes it into my top 5. For so many reasons. Like I said, I won't blab on about it, but people should check it out. And so just knowing that that this game is actually being handled by Platinum, but has like the same director and writer from the first game makes me really, really excited, because Platinum games, at the very least, they're always super polished experiences. I think like 99% of the time. Rise of the Tomb Raider, obviously, we talked that thing to death in the Xbox coverage. Final Fantasy Remake, same thing, we talked about it. Cool to know that they said that more info coming in winter. When Final Fantasy VII eventually makes its way to PS4, like I'm debating on getting it. It'll be the third time that I bought it. I got it on PS1. I bought it as a digital copy on PS3, or whatever, the PS1 version that works on PS3 for like $10, and so like, man, I'd be buying it again for $15, but whatever. Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm excited about. They did the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and I think 2.5 remixes for PS3, and there's a part of me that kind of wants to rehook up my PS3 again really soon, just so I can play games like Nier, and I've got Deus Ex on there and stuff like that. Now I'm wondering if Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, like, are they just going to put those games on PS4 and or Xbox One? And if so, like, I wish they'd say something, because I will end up holding out. I'll probably hold out regardless. Yeah, World of Final Fantasy, I didn't write anything about it. It looks interesting. People just look it up. It's just like this weird hybrid, chibi-looking Final Fantasy exploration game. Hitman, I don't really care about it anymore. Star Ocean 5, pretty excited about it. Like, I loved Star Ocean 1, 2, and 3, and I skipped out on 4, so it's just like, Star Ocean Mike, forever now has been doing this thing where it's like a JRPG, and despite the fact that the older ones, because of technical limitations, were kind of like, it was sort of like, the combat was, actually, no, it was, anyways, you actually hit buttons to fight things, and it's still like, numbers pop up and stuff like that, so
okay.
Kind of like action role-playing games. The first two games are really, really good. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, I wanted to sort of give this game my Game of the Show award, just because the trailer that they showed didn't really look like much of anything to me, and I dug around on YouTube, and I actually found like it's either 15 or a 20-minute long whole gameplay presentation that Square Enix showed off behind doors, and this game looks mind-blowing, just like it kind of looks, I don't know if you guys saw what they did with like Human Revolution as far as like gameplay did. It's like all of that except crazier, and the world's even more sci-fi, and the graphics are even better. So it's everything Human Revolution was except current gen, just like new technology powering it and stuff like that. Project Setsuna, I forget, did you read this out? Tokyo RPG Factory, which is a new studio built specifically to create JRPGs for Square Enix. Obviously, we don't really know anything about it, other than I think it's really, really cool that Square Enix, it feels like from this press conference, it's almost like they said, like, oh, we get it, you guys want more JRPGs. Like, I don't know why they haven't been listening to this for, why it took this long for them to be like, here's all this crap that you guys want to give us money for. Okay, we'll finally start making it. It's sort of what they said.
It took that one game that Mike, you were playing, the one on the DS, the one that's basically
Bravely
Final Fantasy.
Default. Yeah.
Bravely Default.
Yeah. Suddenly we're like, oh, right, yeah, people still want this stuff and they'll pay a lot of money for it.
Yep.
We were starved of those experiences for what felt like an eternity before Bravely Default. I'm glad that people bought it and that they listened. I don't know anything about Lara Croft Go, other than I hear that on iOS there's a game called Hitman Go, and it's supposed to be awesome. Like, somehow they put a Hitman experience on iOS, and people say that whatever it is gameplay-wise and mission-wise really, really works, and people really, really love it. So if they can do that with Tomb Raider, more power to them.
All right.
But yeah, that covers it for me. That's a little bit of everything there. I thought it was... Oh, the funny thing was, and I think I wrote about this on the Facebook post that I did for this, was compared to every other presentation, maybe excluding Nintendo's because it was like digital and film beforehand, it was just funny seeing Square Enix, and it was their first presentation, and it was Bethesda's first, of their own presentation this year, and, Bethesda's very much felt like Sony's and Microsoft and Ubisoft and EA, who have all been doing it for a long time, and, Square Enix has just felt so rinky-dink by comparison. like the audio sucked, and the stream sucked, and the curtains on the stage looked like they were stained, and the lighting was all weird. But I just felt like there was a lot of heart behind it, in some ways, and I don't mean this in a weird negative way, but there was something very traditionally Japanese behind it, and I'm not saying that Japanese people can't put together good presentations. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that, but it felt like they threw 1/10 of the budget at this that all the other companies did, but it felt awesome. As a fan of Square Enix and JRPGs and stuff like that, I still loved everything they said, despite the lack of some sort of just oomph. So, yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
what did you think of the Square Enix?
No, he did.
I went first.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did. That's right. Goodness.
He's
completely
Same as before.
Okay, same as the first.
Oh yeah. If there's one thing that I would say you guys also and people should hunt down from this, Scott, you as a fan of sci-fi, and Mike, shooters and sci-fi and stuff like that. Find that like 15-minute Deus Ex Mankind Divided demo that they showed off. It begins with it begins with it's just like the character walking with an AI character and like story exposition and stuff like that, and then it goes into gameplay. And like even if you're not a fan of Deus Ex's brand of shooting and or stealth mechanics, it's worth seeing what they've achieved with like the visual fidelity of the game and how it runs and the fact that it's actual gameplay. And you can tell it's like it's being played and they're sticking to walls and like rolling out and like the fact that that game's actually just running in-engine and playable in that form and that it's only like the alpha footage is kind of mind-blowing.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I know, beforehand you were saying that was like a title you were super, pumped for, so.
Yeah, it's one of those games also where you can play it as a stealth game, you can play it as a shooter game, you can also talk your way through massive chunks of that game and like go the conversation route, but they said that you can go that entire game and through all the storyline without having to kill a single person, which I really appreciate when games go out of their way to do that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's start wrapping it up.
This is a spectacular, by the way.
I think we've moved into that territory.
Status.
All right. So, conflating all of these conferences, let's have your top 3 games that you are now looking forward to in the next year.
Yeah, shit. You want to go first, Mike, or you want me to go?
Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. Talk about put me on the spot. Yeah, you can go ahead.
So for games, out of games that they said this will be available either this year or next year I've got to go with Doom. Doom gets my Game of the Show award, by the way. Like, wait, is that a section that I'm skipping over, or? Yeah, we kind of did.
What do you mean?
Well, whatever. I'm gonna say it here. Like, but Bethesda won they were my favorite press conference. As crazy as it sounds, Doom was actually my favorite presentation, like the game that I'm looking forward to most. So I'm going to say my top 3 games are going to be Doom, Fallout 4, and I'm going down the list trying to see what they're showing that's coming out next year, and The Last Guardian, with a very, very, very close runner-ups being Star Wars Battlefront 3 and Mario Maker.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Mike, gun to your head.
All right. I'm going to go best of show has to be Battlefront 3.
All right.
Super pumped for it. Number 2, I'm going to go For Honor, just because of I had no expectations. I did not know anything about the game, and it really, really intrigued me.
Nice,
sure.
So, yeah, the fighting mechanics and everything looks awesome. And then I gotta go with a little game called Jet Force Gemini. The rare replay. The
1/30th of another game.
Yeah. No, I will definitely play the other games, but oh man, yeah.
Mike, I hope that game holds up for you.
I have a feeling. Oh man, I have an old CD from around that time, and it has I believe the world was called Wetworks, and the music in that level, I just love everything about that game. I still remember all the planets' names, like Rithessa, and yeah. But anyways, honorable mention, Unraveled.
Okay.
Cool. Looks so cute and fun. So yeah. How about you, Scott?
Not very difficult here for me. Last Guardian, Just Cause 3, and the Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, those are all sequels, which is a little disappointing for me. But I also didn't pay close attention, so I don't know too much about the new games. I don't know what order I would put them in. I've been waiting for Last Guardian longer than the next George R. R. Martin book, but like I said, I wasn't as excited by the trailer. But I think at this point, I just need to play the game. I'm not interested in watching any more trailers. I'm just gonna get it. I'm gonna play it. And I'm probably gonna fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Just Cause 3, Mike, you probably don't know this. I 100%ed Just Cause 2.
You know what? That was the free download for
I didn't know that
360 like a month or two ago. I downloaded it, so I need to play Just Cause 2.
If you like running around getting those achievements,
Yep.
Just Cause 2 is loaded with that stuff.
All right,
And
I'm down.
I usually don't care, but Just Cause 2 has this playful, die-hard style action that is just destruction. It's like if you took Grand Theft Auto and you removed all of the nonsense missions that nobody cares about, and you made the running around the city destroying random stuff the focus of the game.
Oh, wow.
You get Just Cause 2.
Sounds amazing.
It is amazing. It's like what I don't understand is why this game isn't massive, because it's like everything that every video game lover enjoys to a certain extent, right? The explosions look fantastic. They feel fantastic when you pull them off. It's a massive world set without being too big. It's like each little place or segment of the island or series of islands you can get lost in, and then you go back to the map and you think, oh, I wonder where else I should go from here, and you zoom out a little bit and you go, oh, wow, there's a lot more room. You zoom out a little bit more and you go, oh, yeah, there's a lot more room. And eventually you get to the top of the map and you go, oh, God, there's so much I can do. Or you just steal a plane and you fly over the thing and you go from a desert to snow-capped mountains to jungle. And, you know, it's like full exploration. There are a whole bunch of vehicles that you can steal and explode and crash into stuff. You can attract all the attention you want. You know, you eventually get the helicopters coming after you and all that fun stuff. Wow. And then at the same time, you know, the missions, like I said, the missions are go destroy things or go run away from things. You know, like it's all very kinetic. And so if they manage to keep that sort of momentum for Just Cause 3, I am gonna lose part of my life to that game.
Yeah, plus with like all the modern graphics and the scale of everything. Yeah. Oh man, they can go. Yeah, like I said, I got it downloaded, sitting downstairs, just waiting to be played. So. Yeah,
that's also a game you can enjoy with a beer and listening to a podcast in the background. Like
yes, I was doing that with Elder Scrolls actually last night. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
I kind of feel bad that I didn't list Last Guardian as one of mine, just because. But
well, you only one runner-up, I think,
so you can. That's my second honorable mention.
And then Tomb Raider, of course, because I adored the Crystal Dynamics reboot. I thought it was spectacular, and the trailer that I watched just before the start of the podcast had some great cinematic action that felt like it would be a lot of fun to play through. That was some of my favorite stuff from the previous Tomb Raider games, so I'm looking forward to it. My honorable mention would then be Uncharted 4, which is yet another sequel. But I'm a dumb sucker for those games. When Uncharted 2 came out, I got it, and I just locked myself in the room and played it until completion. And when Uncharted 3 came out, I did the exact same thing. My roommate was out of town, and I just locked myself in the apartment and 10 hours straight played through Uncharted 3.
Nice.
Yeah, love awesome. It. Love it. I'm intrigued by Dreams, especially from your description, Mike. It sounds fascinating.
Check it out. It's
because Little Big Planet is adorable and tons of fun.
In what they showed, it's like they like draw a person and then he's like playing a piano and then it goes and shows you like a polar bear. Yeah, I don't know. You have to check it out, but it looks mind blowing.
Cool, I'm for it.
Go on.
Of course, I'm excited for No Man's Sky, but that asterisk that I added to my excitement from earlier keeps it off my list.
It sounds like we should have done the top 5.
Well, that's just it. Like I wanted to try and pinch the top 3, and then of course we'll break the rules.
Feel guilty for leaving that last one out. So.
I was gonna say that for clarification, the only reason that my top 3 aren't Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy 7 remake, and then the Last Guardian is because Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy 7, it's like those aren't games yet. So I'm just like, you said, coming out this year and or 2016 as far as what we were told, and so I can't put stuff like that in there.
Sure. How about anything that you were surprised by or your mind was changed about? Anything that you were expecting that you were suddenly excited for?
I'm trying to think. If anything, like for Star Fox and stuff, my mind was changed for the worse. So
Sure.
I'm trying to think of aside from just like I said, For Honor and Unravel, how I had no expectations going into it,
Cool.
and them really knocking my socks off. Everything else, I could say Battlefront 3 just because it surpassed my expectations, but nothing I thought was gonna suck and then ended up looking cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with Mike also, where it was kind of like the negative reverse thing, where Star Fox, thought it was going to be amazing, and then it wasn't. Same thing for Fire Emblem Cross Megami Tensei. I thought it was going to be amazing, and then it wasn't. And so probably the biggest surprise for me, and I guess why I gave it my game of the show, was just how enamored I was with Doom after watching that, which is like a really weird thing, because like going into E3, it was the first thing I saw, the very first game shown at the very first press conference, and I was just left invigorated by it. And maybe it was because that was the experience of it. It was like, wow, it was like the first thing. It kicked off E3, but man, it left an impression on me. And I went back and I watched that footage a second time, a few days later and stuff like that, just to make sure that I still felt strongly about it. And I was still, watching the gameplay to that music and the crowd's reaction in there, and I was just like, F yeah, man, Doom is going to be awesome.
I take back my previous answer. I can't wait to bust a move in Just Dance 3.
Get out of here. Just Dance Nick, you mean? A true fan.
Finally, someone speaking the truth.
Yeah.
How about you? Anything for you, Scott?
Actually, I might go with Doom as well. If only because I didn't know it was coming, and because the trailer did look more promising than I would have expected, and your combined enthusiasm gives me confidence.
You gotta see the gameplay trailer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check that out after we're done here. But I would like, even though I've mentioned that I'm kind of done with first-person shooters unless they do something special. Like if it is what it should be, if it is fast, brutal graphic, as we said, I could probably be talked into it, and I'd probably have a lot of fun with it. Something big and ridiculous and vulgar, and would be a nice change of pace from the stuff like Destiny, which feels so polished. It's like almost Disney polished.
Mm-hmm.
Not to dump on Destiny. I know it's your weakness.
No.
But
Dump on it all you want. I hate myself for playing it.
And of course, I'm looking forward to Mirror's Edge, but I didn't expect anything different from it.
Oh yeah, Mirror's Edge, damn it. Yeah, it's in there. It's in that top 10 list.
Yeah. All right. So who gave your favorite conference? I think Matt, you've already said Bethesda.
Hands down, yeah.
Oh man. I don't want to say Microsoft just because that's so cliche for me to say. I don't know. I mean.
Hey, but if they give the one you like, that's the one you like.
Come on, you got that rare 30 pack.
Yeah, you've got
I know.
Jeff Gemini.
Yeah. Okay. All right. that in the HoloLens with the Scott. If you get a chance, check that out. It looks with the Minecraft. Oh
okay.
Man,
Cool.
Looks cool.
Scott.
It's similar to Mike. I would hate to say Sony because I'm a Sony guy, but Last Guardian. I'm interested in Shenmue 3. Your description of Dreams took my interest. Of course, Uncharted 4 and No Man's Sky. Those are big. And for as much as I want, like that's, almost everything that they had. And even though, confession time. I've never played Final Fantasy VII. Although I have played Final Fantasy IX and chunk of 8. And I didn't play Final Fantasy VII back in the day because I wasn't into RPGs or JRPGs at all. I watched Garrett play it for hours, and it looked boring. Completely different. I required a completely different set of sensibilities that I didn't have at the time in order to appreciate a game like that. And eventually I did get those, and then I got excited, and that's when I started to play Final Fantasy IX and handful of Golden Sun and things like that.
Huh.
And got into the JRPG scene, And I did eventually buy a copy of Final Fantasy VII, and I started to play it, and I thought to myself, I bet this is still a great game. I don't like the steampunk-style aesthetic, but really what's getting in my way are the outdated graphics. And I hate admitting that, and I hate even more admitting that the Final Fantasy VII Remake intrigues me, because now I'll probably get to play Final Fantasy VII and not have the graphics be in the way. But that's where I'm at.
If you don't, like, the thing that's so funny about like the graphics for me, maybe it's because I did play it back in the day, back when they were still really good. But like I said, I played it recently a few months ago, or a couple months ago, whatever, on Vita. And yeah, the screen is small and shrunk down, and so the graphics are condensed, and so everything looks pretty good on Vita. But I still felt like yeah, when you're walking around as
I
Cloud,
probably cleaned it up too.
It's like Cloud and all the other characters, they're like made out of 15 polygons, but I felt like when you get into battles that it still looks really good, and all of the background art in that still looks really good. Yeah. I don't know, I guess the graphics still look good to me is what I'm saying, but to each their own.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't necessarily think that it looks bad, but it has, one of the reasons that I wasn't into the PlayStation for the longest time was that the PlayStation had this haze over all of its graphics, and there were times when I couldn't distinguish foreground from background because the graphics were too. For starters, they had a lot of sharp edges, and that wasn't appealing to me. But then there was this weird haze that made it difficult for me to distinguish depth, and that was frustrating. Final Fantasy VII, I think, carries a little, at least enough of that to me to offset or to upset my sensibilities. Whereas Final Fantasy IX, I can still play that game right now. That game is gorgeous, and even though it's dated, it still feels clean and feels playable and accessible.
That'd be kind of cool if they did. I don't know if they would be able to, just because of the generation gaps, but the Halo Master Chief Collection, how you hit the back button and you can be transported back to the original graphics, which I find myself doing more often than not, just to just see where we've come and.
That'd be great if they did.
If they could do that in Final Fantasy VII remake, that'd be kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, that would be fun.
You know what they've already said, I think as we mentioned earlier, that they're not doing like a one-for-one recreation of it because of the amount of updating that they want to do. But if at the very least you either unlocked or got the ability to go through some sort of a director's cut version of the game where it's, like, press these buttons at this point and, hear like a director's comment, because the same guy is doing like a lot of the same people are working on it, I guess. So if they were able to talk about that over gameplay, as a feature, cool. That could be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I played The Secret of Monkey Island like that. They have a new version available that you can hit a button and you go back to the old graphics.
Yeah.
I can tell you that is tough to do because it's like 8-bit, 1992 CD-ROM style graphics. But it's a fun game. All right. Cool. So we did Game a Show. I don't know. You've got a question on here. What could some of the companies have done to better their show? So maybe I'll just augment that a little bit, Matt, since we've talked about the show so much themselves. Like, what would you have liked to have seen?
You know what? If I was going to go down the list like really quickly, like Bethesda, it would have been cool if they showed Elder Scroll card game gameplay. Sure. Microsoft, they could have just shown like a better chunk of Gears of War 4. I thought they could have shown a better chunk of Tomb Raider. EA, this is just my personal preference is for them to not spend as much time on sports stuff.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, maybe not have as many shooters. Like, give Assassin's Creed a rest, just a little bit more diversity. Bring back something like Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's a little bit more like, where was the Ubi Art project? Where was the Child of Light or the war game that they did? Like, they didn't have anything like that really. Sony, okay, if you guys haven't and we didn't say this, that Horizon Zero Dawn, Scott, if you've not looked at the gameplay footage of that, it's from Guerrilla Games, the guys who made Killzone. This is actually an open world action RPG that takes place in like the post apocalypse, post-apocalypse. It looks really crazy. It's like got robotic.
So it's Fallout.
No. And like picture like 1,000 years after Fallout.
Okay.
Like the world has been reclaimed. It looks really cool. You gotta watch it. So that game looked really good. But yeah, and like we said, they dropped a lot of megatons and stuff like that, and it was really exciting. But no, there was still somehow like a lack of content coming out within this next year and a half, and I really.
It's the shortest on your list here, and on top of that, there's the Morpheus VR, the Internet TV, and then Destiny, like courting them. Sony's courting them. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's of your list, which is the shortest. There are 3 or 4 entries that are not games.
Exactly, and so
one of them's a remake.
Right. So you don't if they didn't have Last Guardian or the Final Fantasy remake or Shenmue 3 to talk about, like let's say Last Guardian never came out, it's like it would have been an incredibly weak showing by them. So yeah, they just needed more. I listened to a podcast today where supposedly Sony's worldwide studio head Shuhei Yoshida, who everybody loves, said like, oh, we just don't feel like obviously nobody wants their first-party studios to like rush games out. That's obviously not the answer. Like, take your time, make good games. It sucks that Drive Club was broken and that nobody really liked the Order 1886 and stuff like that. We don't want those. We want games that are awesome and finished and with good gameplay and stuff like that. But they said like, we don't feel like our first parties need to like push out these games and stuff like that because so many of these third-party games that are coming out are so huge and amazing, and so that gives us time. And it's like, it's right, but I mean he's right about that. But without console exclusives, you're not doing anything that Microsoft's not doing. I guess it was a weird statement. Anyways, yeah, just less smoke and mirrors from Sony would have been nice, I guess you could say. And from Nintendo, just stuff, that's not a sequel, that looks engaging, that you haven't already showed. Yeah, like really, obviously I love Xenoblade Chronicles and want Xenoblade Chronicles X to be good, but I've already seen it so many times by now. You can't excite me about it any more than I already am. Obviously next year might be huge for Nintendo, like if they show off Project NX or whatever that hardware is that they're showing off. I don't know if it's a console or a handheld or a hybrid, whatever it is, hopefully it's amazing, because I feel like Nintendo, for as much as they pretend like they're not floundering right now, they're still floundering, and I still love them. I just, for everything that they are, and I love my Wii U, I just want them to succeed, And Square Enix, I don't know, it was, like we said, it was really good, really strong, really heartwarming, and I never want like a company to feel like they have to do anything that another company is doing, so I guess I'll just say maybe just like up the ante next year with like a little bit more of a budget for the presentation, and it won't feel it won't feel
sweep the floor.
It won't feel so off. Off kilter. Yeah. So yeah, like other than that, like it's weird. It's like the Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement was huge, and it was cool because that was at Sony, and so it was cool that at their own, it was like they showed the trailer again, and we had already seen it, but then at the end it said more information coming winter, so it was like, all right, cool, like, just next time you're going to do something like that, please have something more to show, I guess. I just sound like I'm whining. You guys, what are your guys' thoughts? Anything in particular?
Mike, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Just to keep it short, I don't know. I guess being picky, I would have. I'm huge into like customization in games, so like armor customization and the way I look, and that'd be cool to see some of that in Battlefront. I'd like to see like what I can make my dudes look like. And then same in like For Honor. It'd be cool if you could like customize your. But I mean that's just me being picky. I just forked out the cash. I started streaming on Twitch, and I picked up a Kinect, and it seemed like it was vacant this year.
Oh yeah, like they didn't show.
I don't think there was anything really. Looks like they're putting all their, sources into the HoloLens, but yeah, I guess would like to see some Kinect stuff, I guess. But yeah, that's about it.
Scott?
Cool. Well, I didn't pay nearly as close of attention as you guys did, so there are probably some things that I was looking forward to that did happen that weren't on here. For instance, from the award show last year, I was really looking forward to Adrift and Tacoma and Before and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and I think some of those did have trailers.
They were at E3, and in a lot of cases playable, or a lot of stuff was shown for them. But I'm not sure if that stuff made its way to any conferences. Maybe Sony's, and maybe when I was on Kickstarter instead.
Yeah, and was there any news about The Witness?
No,
I didn't see anything.
I've been loosely following that game now, on and off. And what's his name? Jonathan Blow. He said that all of the puzzles and everything are locked down, and that they're working on like near final versions of the game, and that it's almost done.
Yeah, and for most of these games, I don't need to know anything else. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is made by the guys who did Dear Esther, which is a walking simulator that probably would bore everybody else, and I was in love with it. The Witness, I don't need to know anything more. I'm gonna play it. Adrift, that's the space station one. That's like Gravity, the video game. Like, I don't need anything more about that. I'm gonna play it. Tacoma, that's like the abandoned space station one where everyone suddenly disappears or something like that. Again, I don't need too much more. I'm probably just gonna play it. So a lot of the things that I was already excited for, I don't need more trailers or more information on. Really, E3 for me would be anything that I wasn't expecting, didn't already know about, and which is harder and harder to do in the age of the internet.
Yeah.
Which is why the Shenmue reveal was so cool.
Oh man.
I guess what I would like to see, Matt, you mentioned Ubisoft not having their art project. I would like to see more of those art projects, like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. Could you imagine that game? It's a Jurassic Park game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Was it Ubisoft who did Life Story recently? Or was that a different company?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's an episodic game similar to Telltale. Oh, I'm sorry, Life is Strange.
That's out on everything. I forget who's making it.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, but stuff like that, that's what I want to see. I already know about first-person shooters. I already know about like the giant multiplayer stuff and these big AAA games. That's all very familiar to me. And E3 is the showcase for them. I know that. I'm not expecting. But if I could change something about E3, I would like to see them showcase the more experimental side of video games, because we have a fantastic subculture of it, and it's what I love about video games now. But I'm not disappointed. It actually looks like it was a great E3. Even with some of the low points, there's a lot of stuff on here to be excited for. And it's not just a bunch of Call of Duty or Ghost Recon stuff. There are actually some decent games, even if they're still mostly sequels. They look good.
Yeah, I think Matt's theory was right. I think it was one of, if not the best E3, or biggest, anyways.
Yeah, for me, with as strong as a lot of the conferences were, and all the Final Fantasy and Shenmue stuff, like I feel confident in saying that it was the best E3 for me. Like, it was my favorite E3 in a really, really, really long time, maybe ever. But the thing that disappoints me about saying that is that for me, Nintendo's announcements weren't a part of me being able to see that. And so I can only imagine how I'd feel if they were a part of that. And so, if the NX is going to be huge and exciting, and they're going to make us all want to buy whatever it is, then here's hoping that next E3 is at least as good as this one, because that's going to be one hell of a show.
Yeah, and they can't really be expected to wow everybody every year. It's cool that they took it last year. But yeah, you would at least hope to come away with something that you're quite excited for.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to say.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Mike, do you have any final thoughts?
No. Yeah, E3 next year's definitely got its work cut out for it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, Matt, you want to take us home?
Yes. So it was definitely a spectacular. I don't know where we are now. I think we hit the 3-hour mark, actually.
We did.
Geez. Yes. So I want to thank everybody who listened to the podcast, and remind everybody we have 30andnerdy.com. Some people find these podcasts on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, other podcasting places. I don't even know about it because Gina's an internet ninja and puts this thing everywhere. We've got 30 Nerdy's Etsy shop. We have Mike's Twitch channel. He's twitch.tv, whatever, /tactics, TAQTIX 27. That's where they can watch your stuff, right?
Yeah.
We got Twitch TV's /30 and nerdy spelled out like it is everywhere else. We got a Facebook page. I forget if we said that. We got YouTube. Forget if I said that. Scott, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook or on Twitter, SW Hannon on Twitter, and then just my full name on Facebook, although there's not really much reason to follow me.
I don't know. You post a lot of good articles. I actually like the stuff that you post on there.
That's true, but it's not, anything I do related to 30 and Nerdy, you'll go through the 30 and Nerdy channels.
Yeah. Mike, anything else you want to plug, shout-outs, where people can find you? You are on Twitter, right, Mike, or no?
Yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Yeah, like you said, Tactics27, TAQTIX27. Mainly, people need to get over to the 30 and Nerdy Etsy store because they've got some awesome stuff. It's very reasonably priced. I just bought a T-shirt. Super happy. So that's what I would plug.
not to plug that for too long, and thank you for that. I think we are coming up on like the next review that we get. I think will be our 40th 5-star review.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know. We're just trying to do an awesome job by what we do over there, and so thank you everybody for your support and people who bought stuff. That includes you, Mike. You shouldn't have bought that shirt. But thank you. Yeah, I don't know anything else. Do we say Twitter @30 and nerdy 30 spelled out? We always say, I don't know. It's been 3 hours that we've been doing this, and my brain is melting, and like we're plugging.
The age of the internet. Too,
I feel like I'm just like clawing at the wall. Yes, I can't wait. Like E3's like a second holiday season, and it's exhausting and amazing and emotional. And this one's been a roller coaster.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? We'll hang up here and then just hang on 1 second, okay?
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you made it through this, Mike, are you still gonna listen to this on your way to and from work?
Probably.
You gotta be like, yeah, I gotta know how I sound.
I listen to every one of the ones I'm on too.
Really?
Yeah. Just to review what I said and how often
Yeah.
I didn't make sense and things like that.
Like all of our podcasts, and I don't say this, it's just like a fact of them all. I feel like we always start out a little bit slow, but I feel like we always hit our stride, which I feel happy to say. Like we always hit a groove.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I've been listening to all yours. If there's anything, like I held off on the Jurassic World one because I went and saw it, and wow, what an amazing movie that was.
Quite an experience.
But yeah, I've been listening to them on the way to work, and it makes time. I haven't listened to a CD in my car in forever.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's awesome.
All right, cool. So then for 30andnerdy.com, I'm Matt.
I'm Scott.
Mike.
And we will, in some form or another, catch you later.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.